solemnly swear to devote my life and abilities in defense of the United Nations of Earth, to defend the Constitution of Man, and to further the universal rights of all sentient life. From the depths of the Pacific to the edge of the galaxy, for as long as I shall live.
The United Nations of Earth is a beacon of liberty and democracy in a dark and scary galaxy. We're going to take the reins of the UNE and attempt to guide it into the future to face off against all three endgame crisis factions in Stellaris. We're going to be doing this as a heavy roleplay. If a decision does not make sense for the United Nations of Earth from a roleplay perspective, I will not be able to do it. For example, that means I cannot force something like a species-wide upgrade, i.e. gene editing, on a population. Let's see if freedom and liberty can actually survive the night. The United Nations of Earth are humanity's first and best hope for a bright future in the galaxy. Here are how humans are represented in Stellaris. Adaptive, so we'll have extra habitability on other planets. Nomadic, so we can get more pop growth from immigration and a reduced resettlement cost. And finally, wasteful. Apparently we like to throw our trash away as humans. Don't worry, I'm not a lizard, I'm a human like you at home, ladies and gentlemen. Humans are lucky enough to have prosperously unified. That's going to grant us 4 extra pops at the start of the game, an extra generator and agricultural district, as well as the planetary unification modifier for loads of extra happiness, amenities, and resources from jobs on our capital in the first 20 years. We are, of course, a democracy, a representative democracy, led by the great President Dolores Mwanga. And we have 2 civics: Beacon of Liberty, that's going to give us some more unity and reduce our empire size from pops, and basically represents how we are a shining beacon of light in a sea of vast cosmic darkness. That is paired with Idealistic Foundation, giving us more citizen pop happiness. This basically represents our strong idealistic values. Finally, in terms of ethics, we are fanatic egalitarian, so we'll get more faction unity and more specialist pop resource output. We must only have democratic government type, which is fine, we have that, and we can take the utopian abundance living standard. We might just do that later on in the game if we can afford it. We're also xenophile, so we can never enslave alien species, displace aliens, we must always accept some level of refugees, and lots of AI empires will like us just a bit more. We'll also get some more trade value, an additional envoy, and some more insights with pre-FTL civilizations. This combination basically means we are the good guys in the galaxy, and I am going to have to roleplay as a good guy. Let me know down in the comments below right now if you think I can actually manage that, or if at some point during this mammoth video we're going to fall off the right track. I suppose it's always prescient to remember that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. If you want to follow along at home, these are the settings I'll be using today. Much has happened since modern humans first emerged in Africa some 200,000 years ago. Our kind spread rapidly across most of the globe, and soon the first civilizations took form. Scientific progress has been swift, though not without cost. Wars claimed millions of lives even before the atom was first tamed, and the turmoil of the 21st century saw the mandate of the United Nations gradually expand in an effort to create stability. By the early 22nd century, the supranational organization had become a de facto world government. Though some still resent the power wielded by the UN, as evidenced during the Mauritanian police action of '88, few can deny the technological breakthroughs that have come out of its sponsored research programs. With the recent completion of the first true starship, mankind is about to embark on a new era of space exploration. The final frontier is calling our people, and Gottfried Klein is going to make the first interstellar journey. Let's watch him on his way. The eyes of the entirety of humanity now turn to look at this one event. Barnard's star, completely filled with untouched virgin worlds, is the first solar system human eyes will see, but no longer from a distance. In Barnard's star, we've made a startling discovery. For the first time in history, we have encountered life forms that did not originate on Earth. This amazing discovery has silenced those who believe we were alone in the universe. Although none of these alien creatures found on Barnard Star 2 are sapient, it is likely only a matter of time before we encounter beings that are. Administrative AI, the full unification of the Earth, and powered exoskeletons are amongst the first research projects that the UN is pouring its vast resources into. As you might expect, the United Nations puts the needs of the people first and foremost in their minds, and for that reason, a civilian economy has been legislated. Under the beneficent leadership of President Dolores Mwanga, the last of the sprawling slums vestiges of the 21st century are now being cleared away. A better and brighter future for all of humankind. News reports from Barnard Star have slowly percolated through the public sphere now as well, and the United Nations is abuzz with news of alien organisms that we discovered some time ago. These evolutionary marvels kindle in the human people a renewed hope of first contact with intelligent beings. Within the closed doors of the United Nations Security Committee, however, this recent encounter has reignited the old debate on how we should approach contacting any potentially intelligent alien civilizations that we might meet. While some have advocated for focusing on establishing a friendly relationship as quickly as possible with these aliens by contacting them, others have pointed out that we cannot know whether alien minds bear ill intent towards us and that it would be unwise to let them know too much about us before it is necessary. The UN Security Council has mandated for a cautious approach. We must not put the people of Earth in danger. As we turn to the stars with wonder, a tradition of discovery comes first and foremost to the hearts and minds of our human population. Our curiosity knows no bounds, and we are going to map the stars themselves. We now know without a doubt that a thriving biosphere is not something unique to Earth. In Barnard Star, we have found another world capable of harboring life. Our efforts to catalogue the life forms we encounter are already underway, but our xenobiologists have urged the United Nations to focus our planetary survey efforts on habitable, life-bearing worlds. This is a commendable initiative, and we will see it through. A lonely habitable planet orbiting Barnard Star. We've now sat down with our very first colony ship, and the people there have named their bounteous new world Serendipity. We found a rare patch of open ground in the lush jungles of this planet, and there made landfall. The landing site was surrounded on all sides by lush vegetation, and sentry drones have been deployed to guard against predators. The ship has been permanently converted into the administrative headquarters of the new settlement, and its reactor core is in the process of being removed so that it may serve as the colony's temporary power source. Hundreds of small tents and prefabricated shelters have sprung up around the former starship's massive hull as colonists begin to disembark in large numbers. The first human city on an alien world. In the Tyee system, just a stone's throw away from the Sol system, we've made a startling discovery. The Huronian civilization, a civilization of pre-space aliens, have been discovered. There is evidence they have harnessed the power of the atom, and nuclear weapons may be prolific among their many divided nation states. The possibility of a sudden self-inflicted extinction event is high. We are now considering building an observation post above their world to study them more closely. Intriguingly, had we had one more ice age after the last one we had on Earth, it would indeed be this civilization reaching out to us, not the other way around. A fierce debate has been sparked on whether or not we should introduce ourselves to these aliens, but now a policy of non-interference has been decided upon by the Security Council, but there are many dissenters amongst them. Our translators have managed to make first contact with the very first alien race we've ever met. These are the Mutagen Merchant Guild, a series of high traders and other such interesting organizations. This would indicate that there is a wider galaxy out there beyond just a single merchant organization. As of yet, though, the Mutagen Merchant Guilds have told us nothing of other alien races or other potential clients. On Bartium 2, the first discovery of a pre-sapient life form has been completed. These strange-looking aliens seem to be destined for the stars, yet at the moment they are just below the cusp of being truly sapient. On the other edge of the Tyee system, where that where the primitive atomic civilization has been discovered, we've also discovered intriguing evidence of an ancient precursor race. Our translators are calling them the First League, and they appear to have coexisted peacefully with a number of races around 2 million years ago. This galaxy is a vast place full of wonder. Under Dolores, the last vestige of the old troubles on Earth is being swept away. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which has existed for decades, is being removed. On Serendipity, the plucky colonists have finally established a firm foothold, and as their first act, they are building a monument to the first pioneers to venture into space. Hopefully this monument will last long after the human race is gone. Orbiting a gas giant in the Alpha Centauri system, the UNS Goddard discovered a very strange cargo pod. Now at first, we assumed our sensors were malfunctioning. The pod was built of the exact same alloy that we, the United Nations of Earth, use for spacebound structures. The likelihood that some alien beings would come up with this exact mixture is, according to our scientists, beyond unlikely. Yet after many recalibrations, we've had the same result appear again and again. Upon opening the pod, the only thing that greeted us inside was a collection of documents giving great detail on exactly where we should assign each of our researchers and what they should be asked to study. The instructions end on a fixed date, one that is scheduled to fall exactly 10 years from now. We are sending the notes back to Earth for careful analysis, but we may not follow them directly. On Tiralam 3, we have found another pre-spaceflight civilization. The Mandasurans seem to be radiotrophic and somehow conformist, and most bizarrely of all, they seem to be walking, talking plants. This revelation has sent shockwaves down the vegetarian and vegan populations of Earth, who now look on at their meals with horror. Since our initial settlement of Serendipity, several anomalies in the planet's biosphere have been discovered. The ecosystem is unstable and has not developed according to projected models for a world of this type. Our scientists suspect outside tampering, and these suspicions have now been confirmed. Ladies and gentlemen of the Security Council, a few of our colonists have stumbled upon a large underground terraforming complex that was built many thousands of years ago. The equipment was apparently deactivated in the middle of the terraforming process, leaving the planet's biosphere in its current unfinished state. If we supply enough power, we should be able to reactivate the machinery, though there is no telling what the end result will be like. Though the population of Serendipity is small, numbering in the millions, relative to that of Mother Earth, these citizens are still United Nations of Earth citizens and must be protected. Though many scientific factions have been arguing that we resume the process, the potential dangers to our population living on that planet are far too great. We have issued an edict to dismantle the equipment and then see what we can learn from it. We are well on the way to completing our Habitable Worlds survey. This has firmly cemented a tradition of discovery in the United Nations of Earth, and this tradition has led to a great leap forwards in technology. Technologies that mere generations ago seemed indistinguishable from magic are now within our reach. Such powerful things as global energy management, hydroponics farming, and geothermal fracking. Oh, what a great and glorious future. With the dismantling of that complex, we have made some startling leaps forward. We can now rebuild that terraforming complex and use it to reshape other worlds out there in the galaxy. The tundra world of Bartiam 3 is currently home to that series of pre-sapients. Were it not, we might in fact be sculpting this world. The election of 2210 is well underway. Dolores Mwanga, riding on the coattails of her first great term in office as the United Nations of Earth have spread out to encompass numerous new worlds, is currently the frontrunner, and I believe unless anything else happens, she will retain her position. And who would have guessed it? Dolores was re-elected. Good on you, Mwanga. Mwanga has solidified her grip on the reins of power and boosted the resolve of the United Nations Security Council. Ladies and gentlemen of the Security Council, you are now receiving dossiers on your new and updated responsibilities. They are getting much better because a powerful council allows our empire to be more responsive to external threats. Our president also leads the Free Thought Forum, where all thoughts are equally accepted, except the idea that you can't think free thoughts, which is entirely illegal. or something. But anyway, they oppose non-representative forms of government and value equal collaboration with other empires. Meanwhile, the Xeno Rights Forum has sprung up to demand more rights for the people of Tyee 4 and other civilizations that now fall within the borders of UNE space. This new political movement is demanding we reach out and help the less fortunate aliens. In fact, they are now on the verge of space travel. Stellaris, however, is maintaining that they must be the first to contact us based on the firm policy of the United Nations from decades past. Just next to the Tyee system, we have found another atomic age civilization. The odds of this occurrence happening are so frighteningly small that our scientists are... Oh, what's this? I'm getting breaking news. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a Class 4 asteroid on course with Tyee 4. We cannot reveal ourselves, however, this difficult situation is leading to a tense breakdown in the United Nations Security Council agenda. Can we leave the aliens to die, or should we intervene? I am getting word that the Xeno Rights Forum faction has won the debate. The First Fleet, led by Chuma, led by Chuma. Let's just move on. The First Fleet, led by Chuma, has been deployed directly to the area and will be intercepting the asteroid, hopefully not too late. Overall, this stance means we are moving from a policy of complete non-interference to subtle interference. We can nudge their development in the right direction, safeguard them from great harms they could not otherwise prevent, but we cannot and must not reveal ourselves or interfere with their own development. We've also caught up with a plaque from Pioneer 1. We are using small mass drivers and nuclear missiles in an attempt to deflect this asteroid, but so far our attempts have been in vain. The asteroid continues to move inexorably closer to the people of Tyee 4. This primitive civilization of apparently rock-like people do not know that the end is fast approaching them. The Xeno Rights Forum have lobbied for a new and expanded position on the United Nations Security Council, which is exactly what you can see here. The consummate politician Sandra Yardley has taken on this new role of Tribune of Rights. This position is intended to protect the rights of citizens everywhere, building trust between society and the government. And I'm getting more breaking news. The First Fleet has successfully broken up the asteroid on its way to Tyee 4. This apparently will save the primitive civilization there. They'll never know what happened, nor should they. Though they are now partially aware of our existence, hopefully we can go a little bit more under the radar in future. In order to learn exactly how aware the Huronian civilization on Tyee 4 are, we've dispatched Layla al-Baz to the planet as something of a spy. Her mission is to infiltrate and report back, and absolutely don't step on any butterflies or anything like that. On Alpha Centauri 3, a planet we are now living upon, a series of seismic disturbances and tremors have led to a startling realization. Our scientists have discovered a vast network of subterranean caves. The deepest of these caves appears to be home to some kind of indigenous civilization, and they appear to be tunneling towards the surface. The United Nations Security Council has but two options: a preemptive strike against unknown aliens, or we could attempt to establish communications. We're gonna go with the communication thing, I mean, obviously. Though a small military garrison will be deployed to the planet just in case. Ladies and gentlemen of the United Nations Security Council, we have now made contact for the very first time with fascinating alien life that is also spacefaring like us. This is a momentous occasion. The Kritharkan consciousness appear to be similar to us in some ways, yet very different in others. We are sending over our envoys. Hopefully they can smooth over the whole contact procedure. Meanwhile, within our own space, we have now met the Subterraneans tunneling up, and we are telling them we'd like to coexist in peace. They are returning to their citizens. We have no conflict. Armies on Alpha Centauri 3 may stand down. If you're enjoying this video, please liberate that like button in the name of freedom and democracy. A Class 4 asteroid has been spotted on the way to Alpha Lycaenus 3, the other atomic age civilization we discovered right next to the Tyee system. Of course, we are deploying the fleet immediately. This is going to be something we must stop with all haste. And as they were last time, the First Fleet has been successful yet again. Though I do have even more breaking news, the clandestine mission to the surface of Tyee 3 has met with something of a disaster. A squadron of atmospheric fighters intercepted our shuttle, and it has now crashed in a remote wilderness location. We're going to have to be quick to go and get there, the awareness of the people on the planet is now reaching a high level. The Reshethian Mandate, a group of spiritual seekers, have just been discovered beyond the Krithakan consciousness. They have, however, immediately declared a war on the Krithakan. We have condemned this action in the harshest possible terms, though we're not really sure what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing, fresh off the production lines of the Banana Corporation, the brand new and improved robot, handling all of your paperwork needs better than any computer. It can simply move paperwork around really good, and you should buy it now. Buy it today, while prices are right. In the year 2222, a nuclear escalation on Alpha Lycinus 3 was detected. Tensions are brewing on that world that is not yet quite into space. If we do nothing, they may destroy themselves. We are now, according to our researchers, their only hope. The powerful Xeno Rights Forum has demanded that we covertly infiltrate and de-escalate the situation. That's exactly what we're going to do. The Krithakan seem to be winning this war. We're going to send a diplomat over to the Reshethians. Hopefully, we can convince them to stop this wanton and needless aggression. I have to assume our diplomats have succeeded in bringing this war to a swift end. Needless to say, this war is now over. No territory changed hands. Very few people, we believe, were killed. All in all, this seems to have been quite a peaceful little thing. We found out a little bit more about the Krithakans. We now have a non-aggression pact and a research pact with them, though they have the strength of legions. They are a hive mind and a subspace F-phase at that. Interesting stuff. We're not sure we really have much in common with them, though the fanatic spiritualism of the Reshethians really does leave a lot to be desired. In the Homam system on our southeastern border, we finally found a planet devoid of pre-sapient or sapient life that we can test out our new terraforming process on. We're going to try it out, and hopefully in around 10 years' time, our researchers tell us we should have a brand new human congruous world. Another day, another disaster with our observation of primitives somewhere. Tiralam 3 is now host to a scientist of ours that has gone missing while allegedly collecting plant samples. This Renaissance age civilization that has recently invented gunpowder is very bizarre indeed. Although we have mastered the nature of our homeworld long ago, advances in this terraforming technology, as our boffins are calling it, means we can now consider ourselves masters of nature everywhere. The Krithakan consciousness have thrown themselves at our mercy. Reeling from the attack of the Reshethian Mandate, they want, in return for their protection, to give up all of their freedom. We are forced to decline. Their protection is not our primary concern. Whilst we do care for those beings, we cannot and will not take away their liberty. That is an unjustifiable action and will lead only to tyranny and death. In 2229, the Reshethian Mandate reached out. After almost a decade of continuous diplomatic effort, they have finally signed a non-aggression pact with the United Nations of Earth. This marks a momentous occasion. We're going to establish an embassy and hopefully, finally, make them see a better way. The United Nations of Earth finds itself at a pivotal juncture in interstellar diplomacy. We have encountered not only primitive alien civilizations, but also two formidable interstellar powers teetering on the brink of annihilation. A deeply spiritualist nation clashes with a hive mind collective in brutal and bloody conflict. This threatens to engulf the local neighborhood in genocide. As the beacon of hope in a tumultuous universe, the United Nations of Earth must navigate the complexities of these alien cultures and ideologies to prevent catastrophic warfare. The principles of the UNE, individual freedoms and cultural diversity, face the daunting task of mediation between these vastly different factions. With our own martial traditions tempered by a commitment to peace, we embark on a diplomatic mission of unparalleled importance. The fate of entire species now hang in the balance as humanity strives to avert the spectre of genocide and forge a path towards lasting peace. But in a universe where aliens are truly alien, the road ahead will be fraught with challenges and uncertainty. The destiny of billions of lives rests in the hands of humanity's diplomats and her peacemakers. With decades of lobbying and the Hurunian on the cusp of actually making contact with us, The United Nations Security Council has enabled us to reveal our presence to this civilization. For ages, they have waited to make contact. In such a vast and wondrous galaxy, they knew there must be others like themselves. And we are more alike than they truly realize. We've got 5 years of stellar culture shock, and then we'll be able to help them out. Shortly after revealing our presence, tensions have exploded on the Harunian capital. We must attempt to infiltrate and de-escalate this situation as well. Hopefully we don't get caught by this now early space age civilization. Questions on the United Nations Security Council are now being asked. Should the Xenorites Forum have pushed for this first contact to take place? Given the damage it is doing to the Harunian civilization, many people are no longer sure. These guys, as the diplomats are calling them behind closed doors, are actually a species very much almost after our own heart. They may be a bit overzealous in their application of the democratic principles, but they do have a strong belief in those democratic principles. All effort is now being made to establish a firm handshake protocol with that civilization. Remember that scientist we discussed that disappeared on Teralam 3? Well, it looks like they've gone stark raving mad, believing themselves to be a god, and yeah, they've decided to bring true civilization to the pre-FTL people there. When asked what had gotten into them, they've said they are tired of passive observation. They will report for immediate extraction, but they've said no, so in the deep dark of space, somebody found an alien box. Now, we managed to open the box, and the box has 3 liquids in. A red one, a blue one, and a green one. They are primed gene modification mediums. Aside from the fact that we know the effect will be positive, we do not know what this kind of rollout would have on the entire population. We could apply any of the 3, or sell them to the highest bidder. We cannot, of course, put our population at risk with an unknown chemical solution, and for that reason, we are selling them. Even though out of character, it really darn hurts. The rogue scientist has further consolidated his power. We've now issued a special extraction operation, which is a go. The Security Council just voted on it unanimously moments ago. Thank you very much, Security Council. Luckily, we already had some armies in orbit ready and waiting. Though I must interrupt your current session to bring you some urgent news. We've just made contact with an alien civilization calling themselves the Commonwealth of Man, alleging to be human. They know a lot about us, the United Nations, and apparently they or their ancestors departed on the Ulysses Ark ship some centuries ago. We could learn much from each other. Let's see if they actually want to be our friends. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not know how to tell you this. The alien civilization on Tyee 4 is currently under attack from robotic drones. Their experiments into AI having had completely disastrous results. On the positive side of things, we've extracted that darnable scientist that called themselves a god, but right now we really don't know whether or not the Haruni are going to make it. After waging a global war against machines of their own creation, the alien civilization on Tyee 4 have successfully defended themselves from the robotic uprising. This is making us look at our own robots with a little bit of concern. War once again rocks the space north of the United Nations of Earth. The Reshethian Mandate are flying in once more. Their fleet, thankfully, is much smaller than ours, and we're equipped with the latest in destroyer technology. So, United Nations Security Council, there is no threat to our borders, but this kind of wanton aggression is very concerning. Well, we've been exposed to the Mandasurans on Teralam 3. That's fine, I guess. An extinction level event has been detected en route to Homan 3. The first fleet stands ready and is about to be deployed. Off we go. The fleet is scrambling, but I'm honestly not sure if they're going to get there in time. There are literally days left on the clock for the people of Homan 3. Again, we're being forced to go in and divert an escalation on another primitive world. It seems to be our main goal at the moment, and look at that, we've managed to take out the asteroid. Job's are good and everyone head home. Due to their repeated warlike nature, we are issuing a sanction on the Reshethian Mandate, breaking our commercial pact and also our research agreement and migration treaty. Dolores is delighted to announce that she has signed a new commercial agreement with a trade league. This megacorporation, the Yarrow Reach Air and Shipping Alliance, something of a mouthful, will be setting up branch offices soon on a world near you. In fact, they've just opened their first branch office on Earth, in which they are constructing a commercial forum. Long may the profits grow. That scientist that fell on Terraland 3 is causing no end of issues. Having witnessed the apparent rapture of their savior, the inhabitants of the planet are not in a good place. Society is splintering. Things are breaking down amongst this atmospherically polluting, increasingly urbanizing population. If we do not take action, they will use our technology to tear themselves apart in a planet-wide religious war. I'm going to go in and take our stuff back. We'd love to sign a defensive pact with the Yarrow Reach Air and Shipping Alliance. It's just currently too expensive in terms of our ability to upkeep. We would not be able to maintain a proper border defense and do that. Very close to Earth, on Tyee 4, a new world order, a radical planetary unification is taking place. Now only a small and relatively ill-equipped band of rebels stand opposed to majoritarian rule. And honestly, majoritarian rule sounds very, very good. We have gone through similar things ourselves. We must remain impartial to their political affairs, though we will form a little commercial agreement and offer some external societal guidance, trying to teach them the right way to think. At the age of 75, elected for 4 straight terms in a row, we're now in the 5th term, Dolores Mwanga has fundamentally shifted our society. We're now a firm and true meritocracy. Incoming communication. The Commonwealth of Man have just said we must end this charade once and for all and declared us a rival. We have closed our borders in response to this declaration. We are also sending a spy over to check out what on earth is going on in their nation. More information is of paramount importance. The war on Tyee 4 is unfortunately escalating. On both sides, military generals have been forced into anti-insurgency campaigns to quell civilian unrest. And there's quite a lot of civilian unrest. Amenities are low, housing is low, devastation on the planet is very, very high. Given the failure of any one group to secure control on Tyee 4, the planet has now descended into complete chaos. Local warlords vie for power, and increasingly radical social movements spring up overnight. As the planet continues through the greatest upheaval in its history, peace remains a distant dream. Apparently, our efforts to shift their politics has worked. They are beginning to appreciate the individual. This is coming on the backs of the New World Order nonsense going on there, so let's just see how it goes. In a stunning turn of events, they've actually shifted all the way now into fanatic egalitarians, much like ourselves, which is, though currently a minority, still has a large amount of control amongst our legal sectors. The Minister of State and Tribune of Rights both are staunch xenophiles, don't forget. They have lobbied that we should be able to enlighten primitive FTLs. And to that end, we are going to do such with the Harunians just as soon as they'll accept our technology wrapped in gift baskets. As our information on the First League continues to advance, we're starting to realize they had a giant city world. A world that our scientists are telling me is an arcology. We're going to set up our very own arcology project here on Avalon, and we're going to make it into a great, large, bounteous city world. More and more spacefaring nations have formally established relations with one another. The galaxy has become a vast, vibrant, and lively place. To avoid tragic misunderstandings between nations, an increasing number of diplomats have called for the establishment of a new pan-galactic organization. A community, if you will, where the empires of the galaxy can meet to discuss important matters. And we, of course, will pledge our support to this worthy endeavor. And there we go. We're now technologically enlightening the Harunians. And while we're at it, we might as well also help the Mandasurans out. Yeah, the Harunians, they are now an interstellar confederacy of merchant guilds and free havens. They are completely aligned with our ethics, of course, and this is a great, great day. We're going to help them join the galactic community as a nation of equals. Of course, we will be taking absolutely nothing from them. Their voting rights for now, before they can understand exactly how the galactic community works, will be somewhat limited, but very, very soon we'll help them out a bit. We are going to allow ourselves to build a building on their homeworld, an outreach building, and give them some of our sensor recordings. Unfortunately, they have immediately picked a fight with Space Amoeba. Much to our consternation, we pacified that life form long ago. Yeah, that's bad. That's very bad. With this new nation on our side, a tradition of diplomacy will soon begin. We're also going to reveal our presence here to these folks, the Sagittarians. Ironically, this does cut something of a segment, a chunk, if you will, out of our empire, though it does give them a little bit of space to expand into, and of course we do want them to expand. We want them to enjoy themselves. The Fajazin are now currently at war with the Commonwealth of Man. That's bad for both parties, honestly. Their fleets are all much bigger than ours. We should form a nice little federation. Yeah. As soon as they end their war with the Commonwealth, we're going to try and federate up with the Fajazin over here. The scientist Nofleta Oakham retired to write a manual on interspecies communication. That was exactly the scientist we were using to do this archaeology site. How deeply annoying. Oh well, let's pick a new one. 10,000 minerals means we are halfway there on the path of making an archaeology project. Finally located the First League home system. It's apparently right next to Hunan over there. We must act quickly if we are to secure it for ourselves. The Commonwealth has just finished their war with the Flashvin. We're going to form a new federation with them, the United Federation of Planets. And that looks like we have in fact been successful. We've also met the Curator Order, very good. We must now build relations with our new Federation member and the rest of this great galactic community that we actually stand almost at the head of. The United Nations of Earth, still led by Dolores, even in her old age. Some of our other leaders have now passed on. Gottfried is one of our OGs and is close to death though. We're going to make Wang Tong into a resort world. It's pretty small, so why not, I guess. We're going to invite our lovely vassal into the Federation. Let's see if that works. Unfortunately, it didn't. We'll have to talk to our Federation compatriot over this. We are going to set up a lovely aid agency on Tier 4. We know how much they've struggled through time. This aid agency is going to not only give aid worker jobs for them, but also provide lots of the things that they need, because the United Nations of Earth cares about all citizenry, or at least the Tribune of Rights does. The sacred Mandasur and Mandate have also joined us in the light amongst the stars. This is another blessed day. Let's open an aid agency on their world and make them into a protectorate. As soon as they are done being a protectorate, we can of course let them be free. But this is a vast and dangerous galaxy. We must protect those less fortunate. And we are also only a few thousand off now, 5,000 off in terms of minerals, getting this archaeology world up and running. Oh, I cannot wait. The galactic market has been established in the Keepers of Avabren space. That's off to the east over here. They're part of, I think, a big federation. Yeah, the Stellar Coalition. To the north, we have the Grand Rutherian hierarchy. To the west, the Commonwealth of Man has actually been somewhat subjugated by the Diatrath hegemony. They're now quite pleasant with us. We could even form a research agreement. Oh, how they have been humbled. There are apparently humans for sale on the slave market. We are going to, of course, attempt to remove them from that awful, awful existence as soon as we can afford it. We will secure their release. This should not be allowed to happen. But that market has meant that the price of minerals is at an all-time low for us now to buy. We should probably be buying even more than we're currently buying. Goodness gracious me. And that means we can progress towards the 20,000 minerals we need faster than ever before. There is apparently been another human on the slave market. No idea what that's about. Let's move on. A great leader, Sandra Yardley, who has stood tall as the leader of the Xeno Rights Forum, has sadly died. We are now going to let the masses mourn in a fitting public funeral. Lucian Gilbert is taking up her vital role, and Igor Krutov becomes the new Minister of State, meaning we have a now mostly egalitarian council. The Xeno Rights Forum has been pushed to the bottom of the agenda. Alrighty, it looks like we're ready. Here we go with the archaeology project on Avalon. This is going to be quite huge if we get it up and running. We've also sent a party of humans who go and colonize, live on, and then research Fen Habanis, the old First League capital. This planetary mausoleum was once the shining administrative center of the First League, though it no longer supports life. But ruins from the city that once stretched across the entire surface can be found everywhere. We are already clearing some of the bits and pieces on this world. Ladies and gentlemen, Dolores Mwanga, the greatest president we have ever known, is dead. We currently don't have the energy to do a public procession, but yes, we should have. We must make it happen. The masses must be allowed to mourn for Dolores, who will be replacing her though. Actually not sure. We'll have to see who wins this election. The two racket we settled here in Wang Tong, they ended up actually joining the Sacred Mandatory Mandate. That was a bit silly of us. Oops. And now, even though, and this is honestly, so look, Security Council, we've attempted to prevent the organic singularity on the Homan world, but there's been a robotic uprising on Alpha Lycunis 3. The civilization here, oh, I hope they survive. At least we're making them more democratic. With President changing to Rakesh Swami, this represents a bold new direction for our entire nation. The uprising on Alpha Lycunis has been apparently successful. The Kelbran assimilators, they have taken the Sejathari. This is, honestly, I'm not sure about this. They are genociding an entire species. But the Kelbrid do seem to represent a new form of life. A disgusting robotic form of life nonetheless, but a form of life. The decision to invade has weighed heavily on the minds of many, but with the Xenorites faction completely diminished, the Free Thought Forum are abhorred by the idea of robots. The Kelbrid here subsuming an entire species and subsuming everybody's rights. For that reason, we are now going to end the threat with a containment war, a brief one, against this race. And war has been declared. The First Fleet moves ready to protect not just ourselves, but future generations from this monstrosity. We will not bombard the planet. We must get there and save the Sejathari from this awful, awful campaign of assimilation. Transport Fleet 3, resplendent with 25 assault army companies, is heading there right now, and they should solve the problem. There is the end of the Kelbran assimilators. We are now unfortunately forced to remove those machines, but we have liberated the Sejathari. Apparently though, they're currently viewing us more as conquerors. So did we get something wrong here? Is this not what they wanted? We'll instigate a tiny bit of martial law on the planet. That might help, maybe. Our doctors have been entirely unable to remove the cybernetic implants placed into the Sejathari for, around a large amount of... What is this? Declaration of war against the Commonwealth of Man? No, we won't be going to war with the Commonwealth of Man, I'm afraid. That does not seem like a reasonable course of action. On the other hand, our subjects should be able to join this great and lovely federation. Excellent. Previous Tribune of Rights being appointed, we've lost another one. Small commemoration, and Fabiana Perez, the last xenophile really we have left anywhere near the Security Council, is jumping in to fill that void. We've looked deep and hard into Fen Habanis now. We actually have a colony there. One little pop on there. Whoop whoop. And we will later have some researchers. But we've delved into these secrets, and we've gained an insight and a First League filing office. Now this filing office can only be built once per empire, but all bureaucrats will produce some amenities and turn more consumer goods into Unity. Excellent. Why are there so many humans on the slave market? It's not reasonable. We can only help so many at a time. It's bloody unfair. Being one of the foremost nations in the galactic community, a tradition of politics and political maneuvering is starting to take hold amongst our people. An enigmatic guest has graced Vishnu with its presence. Some sort of rendezvous with Rama. The Commonwealth of Man has not reconquered Deneb, but they seem to have rebounded into something of a larger shape. The encasement of Avalon has been completed in 2279. This means we now have a fantastic opportunity ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen. The Harunian Interstellar Confederation is now a vassal under the United Nations of Earth. That means, of course, that it's time to release them as a subject. They are ready to face the community alone. They are still a member of our lovely Federation, let's not forget though. This somewhat changes up the state of intergalactic politics just a little bit. Our Federation is rather doing alright. We do have the Commonwealth of Man on our nearest border, and they are somewhat belligerent, though thankfully inferior militarily. The Armonican Order are pathetic. They have recently been smashed entirely, I believe, by the Commonwealth, but they're friendly, so that's okay. The only issue could be, in fact, the Diatrath hegemony, xenophobic militarist materialists that are our rivals and a bulwark under the Armonican Order, who are our friends. So it's a bit of a complex, intense situation on the southern side. To the northeast, the Krithakans are as good as ever. The Reshsessians are now currently led by a human. We're a little confused by this, but hopefully they start moving in a proper direction. They're now Crusader Spirit hyperspace specialties, so yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. President Rakesh Swarmy, a commander by nature, who was once a chief navigator on the desert world of Ugadush, has enacted a policy of galactic forced projection. The fleets of the United Nations of Earth must become some of the largest in the local cluster if the human race is to continue having a pole position in galactic politics, according to the doctrine of our newest and greatest president. We're constantly finding and freeing slaves from the slave market, humans who've fallen on what we have to assume are hard times. A flotilla of civilian transports carrying Gramanshi refugees desperately fleeing from the Krithakan consciousness space have arrived on Fen Habanis. These unfortunate outcasts were forcibly displaced by the Krithakan authorities. They have been traveling from system to system since then in a desperate attempt to find new homes before the last of their dwindling supplies are used up. We of course are granting them sanctuary, but more importantly, we are sanctioning these Krithakans by recalling our embassy and closing our borders. In the 2290 election, Rakesh Swarmy returns incumbent, hopeful to return to the president role. However, Zozira Khatun, the head of research, does seem to have something of an edge. Ignore these numbers, I accidentally clicked twice on one, so I had to click twice on the other just to make it fair and balanced. I didn't mean to click on any of them. There's a final act before possibly leaving office. The president is commissioning new Hermes-class battleships. I don't exactly know what it is, but the Tribune of Rights does seem to be a position that no one holds for very long. Igor Krutov, fresh off the heels of being the Minister of State and no longer a xenophile. Actually, I can't remember if the last one was a xenophile, but we do have Guido Pianelli, who is, I think, now the only xenophile on the council. No, the Minister of Defense, Eva de la Guardia, is also a xenophile. Though Rakesh should probably reprise his old position. Yes, let's get him back in. We've just discovered a massive ring world surrounding the star Sanctuary. Preliminary scans indicate that it was built eons ago using the material of the system's innermost planets. The ringworld has 4 habitable segments, and each seemingly home to a pre-space civilization. Luckily, our science ship's cloak is good enough that even we can't actually see where it is. Excellent. As civilian travel across the United Nations of Earth becomes more commonplace, several powerful criminal organizations on Earth have sensed an opportunity to expand their operations. Led by Floyd Tyler, they've converted a number of civilian freighters into pirate ships. Looks like we're going to get a chance to deploy the first fleet. The Krithakan consciousness have audaciously laid claim to Alpha Centauri. Their hostility currently knows no bounds. We are sending the first fleet over there as a deterrent. Hopefully that will dissuade them from moving along. Well, that does seem like the first fleet moving through Homam, though. Yeah, they've been noticed by the people of Homam 3, who've now seen us. That could have been prevented by taking a slightly different route. Never mind. At the end of a long archaeological dig, somewhere very far away, definitely not Alpha Centauri 3, we found the Oracle, an AI that apparently is well suited to leading an empire. We're going to give them a go. We're going to give them a go, just as a little test. Here, they can have the Earth. Why not? Why not? The Calcatoran bloc have diplomatically subjugated the Commonwealth of Man. We're going to support their independence because they are now a member of our federation, which is brilliant, but they are a bulwark under another nation. They should have their rights and freedom. That would be only fair. Banana Incorporated is proud to announce a new line of robots. With streamlined protocols and a mass-produced production model, these new robots are the best robots you'll ever find. Buy them now while stocks last. The invention of universal sexual biology has revolutionized society, even if it sometimes requires awkward rotations to make a connection. Yes, compatibility. The United Nations of Earth has undergone a remarkable transformation over the last 50 years, culminating in the formation of the United Federation of Planets. Under the visionary leadership of President Zozira Khatun, the UNE has embraced a philosophy of inclusivity and cooperation, shunning the path of forced ascension pursued by other empires. No mandatory upgrading of the citizenry can be tolerated within United Nations space. Through groundbreaking advancements in xenocompatibility, humanity has fostered unprecedented unity with alien species, ushering in an era of multiculturalism within the Federation. Humanity's steadfast commitment to liberty and respect for diverse cultures has cemented its status as a beacon of hope for the downtrodden across the galaxy. As the UFP emerges now as a formidable diplomatic force in the galaxy, humanity's legacy of diplomacy and cooperation will stand in testament to the enduring power of unity in the face of adversity. Though of course a strong and well-supplied military stands ready should diplomacy ever fail. As ever, violence remains the last refuge of the incompetent. President Zazira is kind of annoyed actually at how the council's formed. She feels that she is the best educator around. They don't need a principal instructor, and for that reason she's reorganizing the council to fit her new design protocols. The defenses around Sanctuary do seem to be rather potent. We would like to aid these primitive people. There's the Andari, the Vul, the Favarians, and the Panuri. We actually share quite a few common characteristics with the Panuri, bizarrely, but first we have to knock out these overwhelming defensive stations. For this council reorganization, we are keeping the head of research, the Minister of Defense, the Minister of State, and of course the Tribune of Rights, but that principal instructor will be replaced with a curator archivist. This archivist is really pretty cool. We're going to be getting 2% extra research output, minus 2% researchers upkeep, and even more research speed, but with a little bit more research upkeep. You know, they've come such a long way. The Harunian Interstellar Confederation is now the leader of the United Federation of Planets. The Sacred Mandatoran Mandate are now ready to be released. They were only a vassal. Brilliant. In what must be described as a very odd turn of events, the Velutarian conglomerate over here is being led by a Yarrow Reacher. Meanwhile, the Yarrow Reach Air and Shipping Alliance is being led by a Velutarian. I don't know what kind of switcheroo they're playing at, but I'm definitely a bit confused. Looks like we've got a new protectorate ready to help. The Tizru Kingdom, we've paved the way for this for quite a few years. They are philosopher kings and functional architects, and now members of the United Federation of Planets. Huzzah! Thanks in no small part to our xenocompatibility efforts, we are starting to get a host of subspecies, but by no means limited to half humans. Don't they look something? The Malevite, we're going to not uplift them because we don't have the technology. We're going to get the technology and think about uplifting them, yes. Except it's not available. Right, we're going to circle back to this whole uplift idea. Some of the scientists really losing their minds at the moment, it seems. The Galactic Federation of Planets has just changed the law to the president decides when we go to war. That could be rather concerning. We're going to try and change the law to votes being based on diplomatic weight. That should give us a slight advantage. Right, good. Current president is the Harunian. I don't believe they're going to be declaring war anytime soon, so hopefully we'll stay at peace. Even though we have the technology of gene banks and clone armies and gene tailoring and genetic modification, it would be an abhorrent act for us to attempt to modify the species in our empire in totality. If anyone wants to self-modify, they can, though we will not force that upon them. Serendipity, that great and glorious first world we ever found outside of Earth, is about to become a city planet. The arcology project is now underway there. That would represent our second arcology ever, so good job, team. The Reshethi, who are very spiritualist, let's not forget, apparently have awoken psionic abilities. They have forced their entire population to ascend, as our scientists are calling it. Again, this does not seem very egalitarian or xenophilic, which is why we are simply unable to choose an ascension path. Our ascension path is xenocompatibility. Isn't this just wonderful? The third fleet is going to be reconvened into a mercenary fleet, which would help us out a lot, especially if we get the logistical solutions. Now, we could rent this fleet straight away, but I don't think we need to. What we're going to do is help them field a bigger fleet and give them some of our technology. We'll take mercenary garrisons while we're here, and yeah, I think we're all good. The Flashvin are renting our fleet. Well, how very interesting. The Yarrow Reach Air and Shipping Alliance have demanded that we make them into our bulwark. Now, we're going to say momentarily yes to this, but then almost immediately afterwards we are going to be releasing them. Yeah, we'll release them. This way, we allow them to join, in a sneaky way, the United Federation of Planets. Huzzah! We've got one new member in. Unfortunately, the contract law, they just wanted military protection, and this is a better way of giving them that protection. We'll also form a research agreement with them, and we've got new friends. Decades of research on the old capital of the First League has led to the discovery of ancient refinery technology. This bad boy is going to really help our economy. Now it's time to uplift. The Malavites, who've been for too long pre-sapients on the world of Iceland, are going to be standing tall and joining us amongst the stars. They are starborn after all. Given that only the president is allowed to decide what is what, it seems reasonable the United Nations of Earth take over the mantle of presidentship to prevent outrageous war atrocities that our Federation should not be committing. We'll call in some votes from the Flashvlev Alliance, and we'll get going. Minister of Defense Rakesh Swamy, two-time president, has unfortunately passed away. In the greatest of military traditions, he has been ejected into space alongside poems, charts, recordings, and other memorabilia brought by various dignitaries. This leaves the Minister of Defense slot open, and who are we going to bring in? I think, yes, Eva de la Guardia. By proposing a change to status change, we now have the presidency. Excellent, excellent. That gives us control of the Great Federation fleet filled with battleships that are, oh my goodness, look at some of these designs. Right, let's fix these designs. The encasement of serendipity really represents a triumph of the human spirit here. When we first came to this world, it was really nothing. Now, it's quite a bit of something. It's time to clear out that automated defense system that's clearly gone haywire and save these primitive people. We're, of course, once we get in here, going to help them as much as we possibly can. Kinetic batteries are firing, and it looks like we're getting a good output on all forces. Some destroyers are being forced to disengage, but overall, casualties should be minimal. Unfortunately, it does look like we are, yeah, that was an unsuccessful attempt to clear out these defenses. Maybe we'll try again in a moment. That didn't go well. Who should invite the members? The president should decide. Now, you might be thinking this is very anti-democratic. Strongest diplomatic weight. Let me rephrase just so you understand what the legal system of this federation is. Strongest here, diplomatic weight. So everyone gets to vote in a free and fair election. The custom is that everyone votes for themselves because, you know, selfishness or something. And then whoever has the most votes wins the election. That is all the system we have here. Simple democracy at work. Definitely not managed or anything like that. All right, the burgeoning Corolla, which is our Federation fleet. You know, I've just realized only the leader can construct ships. Let's change it. Everyone should be able to construct ships in the United Federation of Planets. But now we must save these primitives by wiping out these star bases. Fierce debate has broken out within the galactic community on whether or not we need a galactic council. A council of leaders to help keep order, and first amongst those so far is the Flashvin Alliance, leader of the United Federation of Planets at present, alongside us. Now, that's a problem. That's a real problem. Why are they the leader? We should be the leader. It's because we lost all those ships, isn't it? I think it would be a good idea to recall our fleet. The first thing the new leader of the Flashvin Alliance has done is declare war on the Kingdom of Peak. This is a war we don't want to be a part of. The war goals here are to vassalize. They want to change our ethics. I think they're being more reasonable than we are. This is quite a travesty at this point. This is a war we don't want at all. Hundreds of ships have been lost on both sides. There are invasions happening, bombardment of planets. This is diabolical stuff. The Kingdom of Peak has just terminated our embassy and thrown it out. I think that's reasonable. We're getting close in diplomatic weight now. Let's clear out these defensive platforms and the like. Then we can finally save Sanctuary. Waiting for our shields to recharge would be a sensible decision as well. Come on, commanders. Wake up. Oh gosh, no, 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 don't kill yourself. Whoa, hold up. All right, that has done it. The current leaders of the United Federation have swept over the Diatrath hegemony. Let's just change our colors here. They've swept over the Diatrath hegemony, but the Diatrath have invaded the Commonwealth of Man. Maybe we can get Deneb back, you know? That might actually be reasonable. Now, we have forsworn actually invading anybody. We don't believe in this offensive war for a vassal. Doesn't seem reasonable if you ask me, but, well, we're just going to have to wait and see whether or not they are going to come to our space. Our forces right now are sat above Sanctuary, protecting the helpless primitives there and trying very, very hard not to get noticed. In 2336, massive galactic disturbances were detected across about half of the systems in the galaxy. Space Storm Pusterich has arrived. The human spearhead fleet, a fleet of mainly mercenary ships, they're going to try and break through now to Sanctuary. We'll combine our main forces. We don't want to invade, but we are only engaging in Commonwealth of Man space. So this is something of a defensive attack. Though the loss of life is very regrettable, we must defend these primitives. They are completely helpless in this cosmic war happening around them. Another pointless engagement here as we bring that mercenary fleet a little bit closer to us. But why? Why? Questions must be asked of the Flashvin and their ethics. Above Avalon in the Sirius system, that by the way is the heartland of our alloy production, we have begun constructing a science nexus. The future should soon be ours. All right, I think it's time to go on the offensive here, and we're gonna help them reclaim Unity. Of course, Unity is filled with humans. Oh gosh, and they've been enslaved. This is not acceptable. The Diatrath will pay for this. The Diatrath will look at all of these humans that have been enslaved. Literally, billions of people are being ground into the whetstone. They didn't manage to reclaim Unity. No. Oh. But the League of Ammonican Worlds has been created out of the Kingdom of Peak. That's, something, I suppose. Oh, what's this? We found a fun little head. Let's boink that head. Zarklan wills it. Boinking that head has given us a nice little teeny tiny fleet of fallen Empire ships. How fortuitous. By instigating a 10-year succession term, the current term of the Flashvin will end in 2352, or about 8.5 years. So we have that much time to get ready. We need more ships, we need more fleet, and then we can really show everybody that we have the voting power necessary to be in charge. I'm trying my darndest here to raise that Diplo weight before the election in a couple of years' time. It's going to be really touch and go. We are building new and improved fleets. We're turning on all the bonuses we can get our hands on. And we're just hoping that eventually our number gets high enough so that we win this next election. Then we'll probably switch the election time to maybe 20 years or something. Build relations, that's an agenda we probably should have turned on recently. It has pushed us up to the top though. We are now at 50k. Come on, we can win this election. We can win this election. Just 3 years away. We are quite far over our naval capacity, 112% additional maintenance. These 1,400 ships are currently costing us the same as 2,800, and our economy is suffering, but we must win the vote, which actually it looks like we're on track to do here, and then secure our position as the head of the Federation. And there you have it, we're back in charge of the Federation, right where we belong. We're getting bonuses now to Unity, diplomatic weight, more influence, more envoys, lots more good stuff. Coincidentally, we basically have the largest fleet in the galaxy thanks to all of this maneuvering, give or take just a little bit. As soon as we get Unity ambitions online, we should be able to bring our naval capacity up quite a lot and turn down some of these really harsh modifiers. We should also start improving the Strategic Coordination Center that has been strategically placed just behind Uranus. Serendipity has got a First League filing office and a Hypercoms forum, and if that wasn't enough, it's absolutely chock-a-block with administrative arcologies. Yes, this is the world where we get our paperwork done. The Bokians are demanding the Homan system. Now, the issue with this is that they are a population of 31 billion, let's say, and we have Vishnu in the same system, which has a population of 77 pops. Much, much bigger. So either we can give them the system. We can say a laughable demand from an immature civilization. And I think that's actually what President Zozira Katun is going to say, because she holds anyone... Well, I mean, they are fanatic materialists, and she probably holds them in contempt. If we do this, though, we spend a lot more influence. We get stellar culture shock, so I'd rather not have the stellar culture shock. Ah, there we are. Now we get the colony. Brilliant. Name dead, country dead. Excellent. And no stellar culture shock. No issues whatsoever. Beautiful. We're going to reformat this land a little bit. That should be good. That should be good. We're going to militarize this planet. Yeah, we're going to turn it into a fortress world. Of course, we should also add in a little robot assembly plant. At the moment, it is a very self-sufficient planet, only using one consumer good in total. That's wonderful. There's been a little bit of debate about the Fen Habanis world, the old capital of the First League. We decided we basically had enough of it being such a ruined hellhole. People live there, 45 billion-ish. Who even knows? Lots of people live there. We are going to upgrade it, rebuild it, and make it great again. I want to take a moment to ask what you think of my roleplay so far. Have I done justice to the ideals of the United Nations of Earth, or have I failed them? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you've done your own UNE campaign, I'd also love to hear how it went for you. Well, would you look at this? On Serendipity, we're getting some serendipitously large pop growth, 19.99. It's fluctuating around. Sometimes it's a bit over 20, sometimes it's a bit below, but quite a lot of pop growth. Some of this is coming in no small part from immigration, as well as interspecies crossbreeding. Looks like that xenocompatibility ascension has been all right. Turns out I can trade Zro with the Fallen Empire at quite a good trade deal here, actually. We're going to do that because, you know why? We have found deep dark somewhere in the deep, the head of Zarklan. At the age of 126, President Zazira Katun has fallen. It looks like we'll probably get Heidi Schubert in, but we'll have to wait and see. Cheap imported alloys are going into building a sentry array site. When I say cheap, I really do mean they were very cheap, 1 or 2 energy credits apiece. In a shocking turn of events, a trans Haruni from the Haruni Interstellar Confederation has just been elected as the leader of the United Nations of Earth. They are militarist in ethic, which probably means the support for the militarist faction is going to increase. That's kind of scary. The first thing this new leader has done is switch us over to the supremacist diplomatic stance. That's also massively buffed our naval capacity, giving us much more energy and alloys. The economy is going better than ever before. Turns out President Bunlon Anoon is the best president we needed for right now. So says President Bunlon. First stop on our whistle-stop tour is going to have to be Deneb, where we are going to pick up and reclaim the home system of the Commonwealth of Man. Trying to scroll through the army tab here is like trying to have a brain aneurysm. It's not as fun as you'd think, because we've just got far too many different species in our empire. Far too many. This is why xenocompatibility is the devil. Out of character, everybody. This is why it's the gosh darn devil. Oh gosh, come on, I just want... There they are. And let's grab some xenomorphs. Why not? The battles are raging out here in the galaxy. Our fleets, though, are pretty darn strong. The Diatrath and their Knatson foolish allies are going to be eviscerated, even if their Scion joins the battle. Because, of course, there's a Scion. Oh, goodness, galactic power surge. Ladies and gentlemen, there has been a galactic power surge. Well, it's time to go home. Everybody home. Home, home, home. Home is, after all, where the hearth is. And the Unbidden have just arrived as a threat to all sapient life. Where are they? There. Okay. Have we got champions of the community up and running? We're voting on champions of the community right now. Excellent. Excellent. The next stage to protect the galaxy would be to nominate a custodian. We humbly present ourselves, or at least the Haruni Bunlon Anoon humbly presents themselves. Allegedly only 48, but like, these folks live for hundreds of years. How could you know? How big are the Unbidden? Let's offer a trade deal where they show me theirs and I show them mine. Let's see. Come on. Show me some Unbidden. Show us Unbidden. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. All right. We can deal with this. Time to take Defender of the Galaxy. The United Nations of Earth is going to step up to the fight. The fleet is assembled. The crews know their oaths, and together we're going to take on this crisis right here, right now. We'll be there in 215 days. It's not that long, but it is some time. Let's also now, given we know a little bit more about the enemy, we're going to outfit a new class of ship, the Kitty Hawk class. This will be our mainstay ship, I believe, between the Kitty Hawk and the Victory class star battleship. These will achieve peace and security for our great galaxy. The mercenary company we've set up, they can also offer us some tactical insight into these extra-dimensional foes. That is fantastic. I don't know how they fought them before, but somehow private military companies around the galaxy are stepping up to lead the charge. We'll also trigger the head of Zarklan one more time, granting us even more ships from the local Fallen Empire. With the arc emitters and their torpedoes, they should do a reasonably good job at defeating this crisis. All military edicts are also now turned on. Desperate times probably call for desperate measures. Mobilizing the United Federation of Planets is also part of our new agenda. Refugees are streaming in from the front with the Unbidden, but as we are stronger together and galactic peacekeepers, we should be getting some massive bonuses, combining that with Defender of the Galaxy, versus this new threat. The United Nations of Earth, at the helm of the United Federation of Planets, faces its greatest challenge yet. A crisis of galactic proportions looms as energy beings from another universe threaten to extinguish all life. Despite the gravity of the situation, the galaxy remains fragmented, with even member states of the United Federation of Planets withholding their private militaries. Undeterred by the lack of unified support, the United Nations of Earth resolves to confront their existential threat head-on. With the UFP fleet standing steadfast by their side, the United Nations of Earth rallies to defend the rights of sapient life across the galaxy. In this pivotal moment, the fate of trillions hangs in the balance, demanding unwavering courage and determination from humanity's best. Let us brace ourselves for our duties, and so bear ourselves that, if the United Nations of Earth and her Federation lasts for 10,000 years, men will still say that this was their finest hour. As one, we're going to launch in first on this Unbidden fleet for the sake of life everywhere in the galaxy, and we have engaged. We're dealing with a lot of direct damage here to the fleet. We are suffering some losses, but this is actually going to help with our energy situation overall. The Unbidden forces are firing back. They're dealing some quite devastating damage to some of our vessels, but overall they are not able to repel us. That is a clear and salient victory. The first victory, hopefully, of many. Another fleet has jumped in. This is worrisome. Commander Lauren Knox has died. Ladies and gentlemen, pay your respects. Let's take on this armada at its heart and hopefully batter them back into the Stone Age. Unfortunately, some of our ships are jumping piecemeal. We've actually managed to skip over the enemy fleet. That is a fortuitous piece of luck. Their fleet has pushed forwards, but our fleet has arrived just in the nick of time. They don't have any other anchors yet. We take down this anchor, and then we can deal with the extra dimensional portal immediately. Let's take it on. Lightning fast raids, ladies and gentlemen. This is the very finest that the United Nations has to offer, and they are doing their duty. What a genius tactical maneuver. The rest of the Unbidden fleets here are vastly out of position, and we've swept in and immediately closed their portal. That is exactly how you want to do it. Our fleets may have been tactically inferior in principle, but in practice, we have won the day. Their fleets are now all returning. We should probably get out of here. It's time to initiate an emergency jump. We've lost... we don't have time for the emergency jump. We've already engaged the extra-dimensional forces. We have the extra-dimensional Warlock relic as well. Goodness gracious me. Weapons range and sublight speed. Lovely. Let's grab extra shield damage from a harmonic oscillation field. We need to jump out of here, though. Our forces are vastly battered now by this point. Is that another Unbidden fleet jumping in? No, that's our reinforcements. Look at them being swarmed by our fighter craft. Right, every single member must now... Oh, no, they've got another fleet in there. They have another fleet in there, right. That's 1.8 million. We no longer have the forces. A full retreat is being issued by United Nations Security Council. The command are calling for all forces to evacuate. Let's grab an astral jump to get home instantly. Actually, everyone get to the other edge of the system first, and then we'll do our jumping. Everyone get out of there. Have they engaged? Oh, they've engaged that. Okay, just get out of there. Get out of there. Get to the edge, and then we'll initiate a jump. We are at the edge. Let's get out of here. The human spearhead fleet of mercenaries, we can't bring them home, unfortunately. Let's bring home the Federation fleet then. They have been really quite battered. Ouch. I think what we're going to have to do is cancel the fleet contract here and just they can get themselves home. Yeah, that's a them problem. When will we be back? Just a few years. Okay. We are still preeminent in the galactic community, even though we've lost 1/3 of our overall fleet power. Everybody come back home, please. We're going to refit, repair, and we might give a second go at this disgusting monstrosity. The names of those who gave their lives will be forever immortalized in the Hypercoms Forum of Serendipity. Of course, the administration districts there are very keen to write everything down. There are still a number of unbidden fleets flying around the galaxy. We've cut off their reinforcements, but they still remain a galactic threat. As a precaution and an emergency, the United Nations has requested executive authority to handle this crisis. We're the best, we're the brightest, and we will put all sapient life first, from the depths of the Pacific to the edge of the galaxy. All empires clearly are cognizant of the threat the unbidden still pose to all of us, except of course the Knatson Interplanetary Empire, who seem to believe that we are their direct rivals. Thankfully though, the galaxy has taken note of this. Our staunch allies in the United Federation of Planets, the Flash, they have proposed a council denouncement of the Knatson. Basically, the only ships that have survived this engagement are the artillery class ships, our battleships. All of our cruisers, corvettes, all of the close range craft have been destroyed, and for that reason, President Bunlon has issued a new military doctrine. Close range vessels are going to be phased out in favor of instead only long range vessels like the Victory class battleships. The Hermes are also going to be updated and will now feature a focused arc emitter. Other nations are throwing their weight in, but faring significantly less well than we have against the unbidden forces that still remain. This pocket of the galaxy is currently quite a bit of a war zone. And we are also still at war with the Knatson. That is something going on. Yes, we're still trying to achieve peace in our time. The restoration of Fen Habanis is well underway, and in just 1 month, we're going to be hosting a celebration of the defeat of the unbidden and the closing of their portal. Come on down to Victory Day, ladies and gentlemen. And there is the encasement, back to its beautiful former glory, now featuring a former relic world. I'm also proud to announce that humans and their variety of different types, we've got cybernetic humans, psionic humans, regular humans, all sorts of humans, are the 3rd most popular species in this great galaxy. Even hive-minded humans out there, that's not good. Where are they? That seems wrong. Oh, I've lost them. Yeah, well. If I could grapple with this UI, I would, make no mistake, do something about those humans that have been captured and are out there in the galaxy. But yeah, not right now, because I don't know where they are. I'm going to be issuing some strongly worded letters to the galactic community soon. Mark my words. We have repaired. We are now ready for a second offensive. We're going to make use of the Gateway network and fly on down south to deal with what remains of this galactic threat, just in time to get our new powers to defend the galaxy. The Bothrian Star Realm is now dealing with their own machine uprising in the midst of the unbidden threat. Our fleets are here, they're ready. Let's start off with that one over there. We should all be arriving roughly within a day or two of each other. We've pledged our life and abilities, and now the good, brave men and women of the United Nations fleet are saving the galaxy. With the rest of our Federation backing us up, this campaign will be a resounding success. Each fleet down is another fleet that the rest of the galaxy does not have to worry about, and we've managed to unalive the most of these ships compared to anyone else. It's come to the attention of the President that the United Nations is possibly doing the most of any nation in the galaxy to defend it. Now, that should not just be the purview of the United Nations, it should be all members of the community working together. For that reason, a galactic defense force has been proposed, and pretty much everyone agrees that is the right course of action. Increasing the council size, while something we completely agree with, must not take priority over the safety concerns of the community as a whole. We must focus. Terrifyingly, we've taken so many losses that we were momentarily in breach of galactic law for not having a well-equipped fleet. Definitely we can turn off a grand fleet then, reducing the naval capacity a little bit to bring us back into line. A commander died. No, that's not good. Riding high on the back of defeating the Unbidden and unifying the galaxy seemingly, President Bunlon Anoon, well, they're gonna win another election. The emergence of a galactic-level threat has meant the Ganogians decided to awaken. Perhaps they're going to try and save us, though really, we have equivalent fleet power to them. We surely don't need their support and affection. The Bavarian Republic has just been created. They are uplifted on Sanctuary, but you know what? We are concerned, very concerned, about the safety of the others aboard that area. So, for the good of everyone, we're going to renegotiate this agreement in 60 months to permit the integration of the Favarians, who actually, honestly, they just want to be part of the UNE. We're going to permit their integration into our great nation. After, of course, setting up an aid agency to provide more aid for those people. We have a fleet. They basically seem ready. Let's fly on down and deal with this 1 million armada. I believe it is the very last armada that the Unbidden have in our area of the galaxy. President Bunlon Anoon may not be as great at managing the United Nations of Earth as his propaganda would have you believe. Did you know right now, key areas within the United Nations are suffering a critical shortage of consumer goods? Happiness is down, and many people are talking about leaving the UNE. The fleet stands ready. Let's go and see what we have to deal with here. There is shield nullification and massive sublight reduction within this system, so whatever forces we have should be quite capable of dealing with the Unbidden, both the kinetic artillery that many of our ships comprise and the other bits and pieces as well. Fighter wings should now be launching. Arc emitters are firing straight away. Damage to hull is massive. That is 1/4 of the enemy fleet down. The final Unbidden armada has been reduced to about 50% of its numbers, but we are taking massive losses on the corvette waves that have been thrown into the enemy fleet. A nice encirclement tactic from the Kitty Hawk cruisers should lead to no further casualties on our side and a massive victory. There we go. Excellent news across the galaxy. The Unbidden are no more. Let's just end that galactic community session. Yep, and that means we now have the ability to build a great, beautiful galactic community defense force. Let's do it. At long last, the war with the Knatson, a war that we've not really taken part in too much, will be over. The Commonwealth are regaining their homeworld, and any other positive thing is going to happen. Let's check out what happens to the Knatson. The Knatson Interplanetary Assembly, oh, they've already reverted to authoritarian, embracing their old ways. That's not great. Let's try to help them, push them into a better path, a better way. With our new position as custodian, we can make sure that the galaxy is not able to do awful things. We're starting with basic subsistence living standard, and eventually we'll make sure to get all slavery banned, and finally make sure everyone is living under a decent standard of life. Speaking of everyone living under a decent standard of living, it's time now to allow utopian abundance for all. That comes with a hefty cost in consumer goods, but it does mean everyone is going to be very, very happy. We've cured poverty. Now that we've cured poverty at home, let's cure poverty everywhere else. This has led to a small state expenditure in terms of buying in consumer goods, but it's fine. It's all fine. With our term in full swing, with 5-year plans enacted, we're now proposing that we extend our custodianship for a further 30 years so that we can achieve all the goals that we are setting out to achieve. Some of these goals we haven't quite told the wider galaxy of yet, but we're going to get to Universal Prosperity Mandate, and they're going to love it. In the aftermath of the harrowing conflict with the Unbidden, the United Nations of Earth and the United Federation of Planets stand resolute, beacons of resilience and triumph. Despite suffering heavy losses, the combined forces of the UNE and UFP, as you well know, emerged victorious, destroying the interdimensional threat and safeguarding the entire galaxy from annihilation. Yet victory has not come without sacrifice. Many planets and populations near the incursion point bear the scars of devastation, reminding all of the toll exacted by this conflict. Many systems are now littered with the twisting hulks of broken ships and the frozen corpses of their crews. Now, as the dust settles and the debris of war is cleared away, the galaxy embarks on a journey of rebuilding and renewal, with hope for a brighter future. The UNE and UFP will lead the way, determined to forge a path of unity and prosperity for all who call the stars their home. The sacrifice of so many will not be in vain. The United Nations of Earth, wreathed in the power of the Galactic Custodianship and Federation Presidency, has decreed that enough is enough. The line must be drawn here, this far and no further. In a shocking turn of events, we finally have an egalitarian back at the helm. President Heidi Schubert, formerly Minister of Defense, has replaced Bunlon Anoon, who will now take up the role of Minister of Defense. Having a militarist Minister of State and a militarist Minister of Defense, yeah, I can't imagine that'll be a problem, right? The Chosen have just completed a Colossus project. That's very bad, you know. We are the custodians. We should probably do something about this. Pirates have been sighted in the Ringworld construction area. That's also very bad. We'll deploy a quick garrison fleet to deal with them while we make sure that the Ringworld in Crimdor and its completion can go ahead as planned. You know, in other news, we have achieved something fantastic. We're now pulling matter directly from a black hole. The United Nations of Earth is at the forefront of technological progress in this great and beautiful galaxy. The shining jewel of humanity has grown rather large. 92 pops there. Let's shorthand say there's 92 billion people now living on Earth and its associated habitats in the orbital rings. There's only one way we can make this number embiggened, and that's by starting an arcology project. So we are going to get Earth into another ecumenopolis. By completing a sentry array in the Bartiam system, we now have full and unfettered visual access to the entire galaxy. None can hide and none can go unnoticed now from the galactic community and our legal system. Let's go activate the L gate. I think we'll deploy the 1st, 5th, and 7th fleets to deal with this possible threat. Because of course we don't actually know what we're going to find on the other side of this gateway. It's an ancient gateway network. It's very old. It's very beautiful, but we really don't know much about it. Our scientists are now confident that our knowledge of the L gates and the technology behind them will be sufficient to abort the maintenance cycle they have been locked within. If our attempt is successful, this L gate should allow immediate access to what our scientists are theorizing is a distant L cluster. I hope it L looks pretty cool. Yeah, President Heidi Schubert really loves her puns. That's why we're punching above our weight here. Oh, and there's always more humans who manage to get themselves on the slave market. At least these ones are actually slaves rather than livestock or some sort of nonsense. We've seen that quite a lot in this galaxy, and I don't like it. We've taken the Sanctuary system by integrating, of course, the recent primitives, the Favarians. We've done that mainly to safeguard the Penurians, the Vul, and the Andarians. As we suspected, we were a little bit afraid of this, the Favarians have, against the law, made contact with Sanctuary J and Sanctuary G. It's going to take a lot of time to undo the damage that they have done. Look at this stellar culture shock. It's problems like this is why we didn't get involved in the first place. Ladies and gentlemen of the United Nations Security Council, we have an immediate threat. We've opened the L Gate cluster and a massive series of warships have been expunged out. They seem to be completely crazy, broken machines that basically are not listening to us in the slightest. And it's not just us, they have come out into other territories. They are attacking other members of the United Nations and other members of the galaxy as a whole. We're going to travel through the L Gate and attempt to stop them permanently. We've engaged the forces here. There seems to be arrayed a large number of Grey Tempest ships. Luckily, our technology and our resolve are unmatched. Once more, the Custodian will swing into action. They have a lot of fleets though. Right, We're bringing up the Federation fleet to deal with this, and the second fleet is being deployed as well. This L cluster definitely does exist, and it is very, very strange. We've entered what is being called terminal egress, a giant black hole surrounded by a number of nanite worlds swarming with active nanites that are in constant flux. These worlds are probably not something we should go and look at. There's also a number of broken and shattered worlds. We can only ask, what on earth happened here? Now, I didn't even notice this, but Sanctuary D actually had a criminal underworld before we jumped in and took the helm. Thank goodness we put an end to that nonsense. We're providing them with gene clinics, state-of-the-art robots now, and we will be expanding the research here to make use of this new Ringworld asset. The galaxy must first and foremost put the Grey Tempest at the top of the agenda. Establishing a forward base of operations in terminal egress is the next stage in our 5-stage plan to rid the galaxy of this despicable machine threat. And it once again calls into question whether or not our own robotic workers, our own robot laws are too lenient. Perhaps they should be entirely outlawed and disassembled to prevent any disaster machine-based befalling our nation or any other nations in the galaxy. As soon as the Grey Tempests arrive, our boys swing into action, firing off their fighters and tachyon lances and other such weaponry. The Grey Tempests are no match for the United Nations of Earth. Terminal egress is now UNE space. Barely a decade after emerging victorious against the Unbidden, the UNE faces a new existential threat in the form of the Grey Tempest. This relentless force of destruction invaded through L-gates from the edge of the galaxy. Another extragalactic threat intent on eradicating all sapient life. With the UNE holding the mantle of galactic custodianship and Federation presidency, they were in the perfect position to take decisive action on behalf of the galaxy, launching a preemptive strike at terminal egress, the staging point of this new invasion. The UNE repulsed the Tempest forces and then fortified the system, thwarting any further attacks on the galaxy. However, victory came at a heavy cost, with lives lost and resources depleted in the pushback against the Tempest onslaught. Now, as the UNE diplomats stand ready to negotiate, they face a moral dilemma. While they do not wish to engage in genocide, even to save themselves, the United Nations of Earth resolve not to let the galaxy fall into darkness. With steadfast determination, we seek a resolution that preserves the sanctity of all life while ensuring the survival of civilization in the face of relentless adversity. We are sending in the diplomats. UNE is the last bastion of this Grey Tempest. We are attempting to demand their surrender, but as they are nothing more than rampant machine growth, a nanite swarm, if you will, it seems like there's basically nothing that we can do. Our vast forces, including those of the Federation fleet and the Galactic Defense Force, are on the cusp, ready to jump in, ready to end the threat once and for all. But if we can avert a catastrophe, if we can not kill everybody, that would be much, much more preferable. Well, negotiations have failed. We've tried for a few years. All forces are now going to converge on the nanite factory. And as one, we'll put this threat to bed forever. There we are, another threat dealt with. These forces are going to regroup at terminal egress, and I think from there we're going to survey these new systems and find out what's going on in this great, lovely little L cluster. There's actually a number of worlds here. We can terraform intercontinental worlds now that we have dealt with the nanite swarm. We're actually going to do that straight away. There's no reason not to. And this new cluster then represents something of a lifeboat for the rest of the galaxy, as we can make sure that whatever happens in the main cluster, this segment will survive in perpetuity. On Sanctuary G, the fearful, fragmented Andorian civilization, well, it's all gone wrong. First of all, of course, we gave the Favarians free reign over this system for a period of time, and they made contact with the Andarians. The Andarians now say that they refuse that anyone is extraterrestrial in life. They claim we are not interstellar visitors, but a subterranean dweller who climbed to the planet's surface through a hole in the ground. Their planet Sanctuary G is thought to be hollow, even though it's... yeah, I guess maybe they think beyond the ring nothing exists, I suppose. And they believe we fly inside this central cavity using our spaceships. I mean, I suppose from their point of view, that's kind of true. If they're in a closed ring and they're saying we live behind the ring in a hollow area, I mean, they're not entirely wrong. These baffling beliefs are hindering our diplomatic efforts, though. So from their point of view, we are not spacefarers from another planet, because they don't know about planets, but we just live inside the hollow part on the other side of their ring, a vast and infinite ring, or something like that. Maybe they think the ring is closed in the other direction. I really don't know. Yeah, maybe we'll bring them into space to show them that they're wrong. Well, it turns out the Andarians don't believe in space either. Oh my lord. They think the sky is a glass dome filled with mirrors. Stars are rays of sunlight reflected from the mirrors, as are the other celestial bodies. Even if we bring them to our capital, they would probably claim that they'd never left their home planet, or something equally absurd. Maybe we just send lots and lots of diplomats here. That might do it. After having determined we are the secret inhabitants of Hollow Sanctuary G, I can't believe we're back here. I'm sorry to bother you with this Security Council, but yeah, the Andarians have started worrying about what else may be lurking under the surface of their planet. Military forces have been stationed near caves, vaults, and volcanoes, poised to meet any further underground invaders with force. We're going to play along and offer them subterranean invasion defense forces. Let's bring the entire military might of the United Nations of Earth. We'll bring our xenomorph armies, our assault armies, and our robotic defense forces, and then they'll see. Unsurprisingly, the subterranean defense force troops stationed near the biggest caves report that absolutely nothing has emerged from beneath the surface. It's probably for the best, although some of the soldiers do look visibly disappointed. The Andarians have offered us their thanks as well as an official apology. They understand now we are not in fact subterranean dwellers, but come from another place entirely. The center of their star. Oh, this is actually worse. At least the subterranean dweller thing was close on the money, Security Council. Their grasp of cosmology is less than perfect, but at least they are now ready to trust us. We have a glut of new worlds ready for colonization. This is going to be quite the project. It will revitalize our entire economy and probably massively increase our administrative upkeep. Yeah, empire size is going to go crazy, but the Security Council have approved it, so off we go. We have so many pops every time I click the colonize button, or I have to click this button. Not pops, so many different species. Thanks to xenocompatibility, the game goes and lags out for about 5 minutes. It's fun. It's all fun. It's so fun. Layer upon layer of urban sprawl eclipses Earth's crust, and it is now an ecumenopolis world, just like it should have always been. Just so no one forgets our great victory over the Tempest, and so that everybody remembers the need for diplomacy and galactic politics, we're going to set up an interstellar assembly in the UNE system, which is, of course, the old heart of the Grey Tempest threat. Whilst enriching the soil and adding atmosphere to Mars, a dream held by many humans for a long time, and we're the humans that actually did it, let's not forget, we've discovered a subterranean civilization there. They are pre-FTLs that seem to be unaware that the surface has changed. Adding a gateway here into terminal egress, where there's already an L gate, gives us the fastest galactic connections ever. Want to get from one side of the galaxy to the other? It's going to take you literally days. We have now proposed a galactic-wide ban on chattel slavery and livestock slavery, so no more will we have to continually pull pops out of the market because they are being eaten and because they are being enslaved. A majority of the community stands with us, though there are some dissenters whose names are being noticed. First and foremost amongst them, the old Knatson Confederacy. I'm deeply disturbed by this turn of events, I can tell you. We're going to combine this new legislation with a reverence for life. Purging, other than displacement, and the use of world crackers will be banned throughout community space. The horror of war on the scale of interstellar empires is a terrible thing, and we should do what we can to limit its excesses to active combatants. And after that, we might set up a tribunal and then ban unrestricted wars, and finally, hopefully, we can bring about a demobilization initiative. 200 years after we made it into space, and the galaxy is still very divided. The United Federation of Planets occupies a good chunk of the northwestern side of the galaxy, but we have other powers at play. The United Naftakan Imperium are leaders of the Grand Ruthenian hierarchy, a hegemony, and they control the northeast. Luckily, we have very good relations with the United Naftakan Imperium, and so no war has broken out there. To the south, a sacrificial megachurch, the Ukopraknaran Church of Tomorrow, and honestly, we're a little bit horrified by what these folks are doing. Well, this church will be forced to change, but first, we're going to bring them in to the United Federation of Planets. They are at least pacifist, but they do have a network of vassals. With their inclusion in the UFP, that means the Southeast and the Northwest stand united. Other segments like the Magnan Corporation and the Knatsan Imperium do represent other power blocks, however. Proposals for major military sanctions, moderate administrative sanctions, and other sanctions we already have in place should force empires that do not possibly agree with the greater than ourselves new law that's going to be coming through in a moment. It should force them at least to take notice of it and force them to change through peaceful means. 2401, private communique for United Nations Security Council. Several tracking stations have picked up a peculiar subspace echo coming from somewhere in intergalactic space. The echoes are faint but getting stronger, and they seem to be approaching our galaxy. We're preparing the diplomatic teams to welcome a new intergalactic arrival, and hopefully that'll go well. 2402, special memo to the United Nations Security Council. The strange subspace echoes we detected in intergalactic space are now approaching the outer rim of our galaxy. Several smaller contacts appear to be racing ahead of the main body of echoes towards a number of rim systems. We've entered the positions of these systems into the situation log and will continue to monitor the outcome. Right, they're all down here in the 00 UNE replicators. Some sort of robotic nonsense. Well, I guess they'll be welcoming the new arrivals to our lovely, lovely galaxy. Huzzah! In more exciting news, Greater Than Ourselves has just passed, and that means the galaxy is now a little bit safer and a little bit kinder. For those of you that don't know, basic subsistence and stratified economy living standards are now banned. Chattel slavery, livestock, and grid amalgamation slavery types are now banned. Mid-2402. Another memo to the United Nations Security Council. We're picking up a strong subspace signal washing over the galaxy. Its point of origin appears to be the contacts approaching from the intergalactic south. Local science ships are now investigating. Intermittent screaming is the only transmissions that were ever received from those science ships. Urgent communication to the United Nations Security Council and galactic community. We have received word that several outlying systems along the galactic rim are being overrun by some sort of invasion force. I repeat, the bogies are hostile, the bogies are hostile, and they've got weird eyes. This appears to have been the source of the subspace echoes we detected approaching our galaxy. What we have encountered now is only the vanguard. The main body of contacts has yet to arrive. Reports have so far been confused, but the ships used by the invaders appear organic in nature and do not respond to hails. Our entire galaxy may be facing an invasion of unprecedented scope. These forces appear to be somewhat similar in size to the unbidden forces we previously encountered. We're going to scramble all fleets available and go and intercept the threat. Estimated time till arrival around 145 days. The once peaceful Habnite unified worlds in the Dakar system, well, they are now under bombardment and attack from what we are calling the Praetorian Scourge. Only 50 years after the unbidden arrived to threaten our galaxy, we now face a possibly greater threat. It's time to lock and load all weapon systems. We're going into battle. Estimated time of arrival in the Bickel system, our first engagement. Just a moment. Oh, we're going to land on top of them. This might not be excellent. And we have an arrival. More fleets are entering the fight. Our analysts are telling us there's roughly 1.5 million fleet power in this single system alone. They're sending acid blasts, they're sending swarm strikers, they're sending large Scourge missiles. It's all getting quite a bit hairy. Our defensive tactics are paying off somewhat, though we do seem to be losing quite a few ships. Again, most of the smaller vessels were completely obliterated in the initial stages of the engagement. What is left is doing fine. We're going to rendezvous with the UNS Tectonic, a juggernaut, and attempt to repair. The UNS Tectonic, in a bold move, seems to have engaged alone ahead of the main fleet. Luckily, they are backed up. Yes, the rest of the UNE forces have arrived now, and the artillery is pummeling this 2 million strong swarm of Praetorian. We have now an ungodly number of military assets at our control, and we are defending the galaxy one piece at a time. The number of Titans at our disposal is simply staggering. I think we've got a total of, yeah, I think somewhere in the region of 10 or 12 Titans right now. The Penurians have reached the space age. We're bringing them straight on into the United Nations of Earth. They're going to get a seat. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. A second wave, interestingly, seemed to be approaching. Oh, goodness me. Oh, goodness me. These fleets are much larger than we have previously faced. What are we dealing with here? We're dealing with about, oh yeah, that's a comfortable 6 or 7 million. The galaxy has to focus on this, and actually we should really turn on. Where are you? Where are you? Astral shielding. Yes, that will help us survive, hopefully. Vastly outnumbered in terms of hit points. I know we're opening up with good artillery salvos here, but I'm not sure how long this will last. The Federation fleet does have quite a few corvettes in. They are going to take a proverbial battering, and the enemy forces are now targeting us directly. By splitting up, our fleets are no longer using their main armament, the X-slot weaponry, and some of our fleets are rushing headlong into the danger. This is not good. Not good at all. Oh, goodness me. Oh, goodness me. We're losing a lot of forces here. It may be time to issue a full retreat. The situation is indeed dire. Yep, yeah, that's retreat o'clock. One by one, we're issuing retreat orders. Everybody pull back. They died. That sucks for them. We will come back to re-examine this attack pattern and figure out what went wrong. But yeah, taking on all three at the same time, possibly not the best idea we've ever had. Let's start by rebuilding the GDF fleet. That's a good place to start. How long before our forces return? We're looking at 5 months. That means they might be coming back very, very close, terrifyingly close, actually, to the battle. We don't necessarily want that. We'll have to see. Massive losses. Most fleets have been reduced to around a quarter or a fifth of their operational targeting maximum. These are some of the worst losses the United Nations has ever suffered in any military engagement. Apparently an asteroid is approaching Mars. Luckily, our kinetic artillery and laser fires should prevent that from being a problem, but the Martians are becoming a little bit aware. Not good. In this time of upheaval, the alloy price in the galactic community has reached an all-time high, so if you're making alloys and selling them, you are making bank. The rest of us, we're scrabbling to stay alive. All right, all forces have returned here. Let's bring them all back home. Everybody be back to Barnard Star. 120 days. Let's try and put some of these fleets back together then. Let's see what we're working with here. It's going to be an expensive trade, but I know what they want. They want the snorty. Good stuff. I'm assuming they're listening to us because we do have the head of Zarklan in a box somewhere. We will blow it up if they don't do what we want. Beautiful. 50,000 alloys. Right, let's rebuild the fleet. They're now actually eating a chunk out of United Federation of Planet space. Luckily, the dimensional lock on this wormhole means the fleet there, the Thorians, cannot go through it, I believe, but that's just a hope so far. We have yet to test that in battle. What we have tested in battle is the fact they're very, very good at shooting us. Those of you who are curious, due to the crisis settings, this is now equivalent to a 15 times crisis on exactly year 2400, after we dealt with the first one. This is a 2 million fleet power fleet. I think we can handle that, right? There's a queen, 8 swarm carrier class brood mothers. Yeah, this is a lot of stuff. We should also, at this point as well, we're going to get a tactical insight on them, obviously. And then we want to rent their fleet. Yes, 11,000 for the human spearhead. Well, these ships are all going to die. I guess they'll make good cannon fodder, I suppose. But we're back up to previous military numbers in the galactic community. That means our strength has rebounded, and everyone stands with us once more. How are there human slaves? How? How is this possible? And the galactic community is coming with us. We will fight them now, this time as one. A united galaxy with a united purpose. Survival. It is awe-inspiring to see the faith and trust other members of the community place within us. First and foremost amongst those are members of the United Federations of Planets. The Diatrath just left their federation. What if we bring them into ours? Oh, they hate the Commonwealth of Man and the Flejavins. Yep, them. That fleet should leave, and that should give us plenty of time to deal with the Starbase first. They didn't manage to leave. All of our forces have now entered the engagement, and they are not alone. Wave after wave of fighters and missiles, kinetic bombardment, neutron launchers. We're throwing everything we have at this little fleet over here. It is doing something that they are able to fire off their own attacks as well. The matter disintegrators of the Dimensional Fleet are very, very good too. Just looking at this is causing some lag-related issues on my end. There's even more in here, even more. Where is this fleet going next? It's the important question. The answer is, I don't know. Let's meet them in the air. 2 million of theirs versus our finest. We're also going to turn on, at this point, astral shielding for that additional 25% of hardening. Particle weapons are flying out. Barrages are coming in. We're getting arc emitters, tachyon lancers, perdition beams. All of it is shooting. Not all of it is killing. Hive Affinity is helping them with additional fire rate, and their ships are still not actually engaging. Look at our devastating weapons. This might be the best engagement we've had yet. The range is surely to our advantage so far. We've knocked out about half of them. But as soon as they get in close, we could be dealing with a bit of an issue. Yet more of the galaxy have arrived, and we now outnumber them in hull points quite a lot. They've dealt 500 points of damage so far with some swarm strikers, but their craft are simply dying in space. All of those deployed fighters and things are clearly not helping. Just trying to look at this star system, the number of fleets the AI has brought to bear alongside our own is honestly ridiculous. Oh, brilliant. We're coming from two angles. This is galactic deterrence, and this is the United Federation of Planets. Every one of those ships carries a crew that have sworn to protect sapient life everywhere. You know the drill. From the depths of the Pacific to the edge of the galaxy. And we're engaging first as ever. We like to get there and start the fight. Corvettes are being taken down, but overall, we're hunting. Great, they're done. To safeguard the galaxy, to find out what threats lurk beyond our sensor range, we will study everything and prepare ourselves accordingly. Bringing the rest of the community with us has honestly been amazing. Strike Force Cerberus has nothing on the X slot, but brilliant. That's a particle lance, that's good. Cruisers have plasma and things like that, that's good as well. We have done the majority of the work though. We deserve galactic recognition for this somehow. Perhaps some sort of constitutional immunity? No, we wouldn't need constitutional immunity because we'd never do anything wrong. Absolutely not, Security Council. No need to worry about that. Oh no, we've jumped on top of them. This could be a disaster. This could be a real military disaster. Luckily, everyone else has come with us, so I'm pretty sure the Predator here are getting target saturation because there's a literal carpet of ships. No, we've actually phased inside of their ships and thus destroyed them. Look how much actual damage they're able to output because of how many ships we've got and how much they are shooting. It's kind of laughable. 70,000 damage is somewhere in the region of like 15 battleships or something. That's nothing. 20 battleships they've destroyed. 25. I'm not even really sure this counts as casualties given the scale of forces that are arrayed against them. I mean, you cannot see through our fleets as they arrive in here. It's really something. Let's head back home and take a look at that quantum catapult. We're going to upgrade it. If we can get this to the maximum level and combine it with the extra dimensional warlock, we should have an insane range, not just range, but also accuracy on the catapult. Got a relatively central location here. It should be able to reach anywhere. Oh my goodness me, we've just got far too many ships. There's far too many people in the UFP, and the enemy can't handle it. We can't even handle it. It looks like our forces have basically seen off their southern invasion fleets. We've got, let's see, 1.8 million, a few million worth of fleets. Let's jump and jump and jump. And then to the north, there are 2 more fleets. This should be very doable. I think it's time to do a set and forget action. How is our catapult doing? Why is there something at the center of the galaxy, and what is it? We're going to throw an army transport into that fleet to figure out what on earth is going on down there. Here we go. Whoa. Well, this all blew up, didn't it? What on earth is going on here? An ancient rift black hole. The center of the galaxy. That's very strange. Aha, we are attacking the brood swarm. Where are the rest of the galaxy? Not here, it seems. Okay. They wanted to come and join. Ah, now they're here. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. 2 more large swarms left, and then we'll have won the day. First this one, and we've got some fearsome firepower coming in right at the start. Looks like everyone else might be joining us there. Yeah, we've got a few auditions. Some of them very late to the party. Oh no, our GDF fleet. The reinforcements. Well, it looks like the game is back again. Here we go. Oh yeah, and they're all dead. Oh, those poor ships. Aha, now it's our turn. They cannot stand against the full might of the galaxy. Not even for a few minutes. Whoa, there's the full might of the galaxy. The game is losing it. Galactic might indeed. Oh my sweet, sweet baby Jesus. That's, that's done. We found the final fleets of the Scourge and eliminated them. The galaxy has breathed a collective sigh of relief as those last pockets of the extra-dimensional invasion have been purged. With renewed interest, we are setting our scanners to scan all space around us and setting our defenses to shoot at anything incoming that may be hostile. Could this be a new era of galactic peace and stability, though? Everyone is very, very happy. We'll have to see. The United Nations of Earth stand as a bastion of resilience and unity in the face of extragalactic threats. Having repelled the latest threat, the Praetorian Scourge, the UNE and her allies have demonstrated their unwavering resolve and readiness to confront any future challenges for the sake of the galaxy. With each successive victory against darkness, the galaxy has shed its naivety and embraced a newfound strength born of unity. The United Nations of Earth now commands the largest military force ever assembled in the Milky Way, proudly championing the values of freedom and democracy and prepared to defend them whatever the cost. Yet amidst the triumph, a sobering realization dawns upon the UNE leadership. By defeating these existential threats, they may have inadvertently signaled their readiness for a higher form of warfare, drawing the attention of unknown adversaries lurking in the multiverse. Undeterred by the uncertainty of what lies ahead, the United Nations of Earth's president issues a defiant declaration to any potential aggressors. To whomever might be out there, whomever might think we are an easy target due to our ideals, you are wrong. We will not go quietly into the night. Let them come. There are still livestock in the slave market. This should be illegal. How is it that who's doing this? The Synthoan fabricators, the Zero Onan replicators, and that's about it. It's these two nations, right? To prevent this sort of threat being an issue ever again, we have proposed a policy of galactic mobilization. The future of our galaxy is at stake. Massive fleets of war must be rapidly mobilized, even if it means the impressment of civilian merchant crews. We cannot allow our galaxy ever again to suffer the ignominy of invasion. Aha, so we've discovered something interesting. The serviles here cannot be anything other than unemployed or clerks on the capital of Earth. But if they're unemployed, they'll be generating some research and unity. Excellent. We still have a way of making serviles do research, and I love it. We're going to test out with the GDF fleet what our new and improved quantum catapult can do. Why is it improved? Well, we have the extra dimensional warlock that's going to grant us a whopping plus 75% quantum catapult accuracy and range. All I have to do, turn on lateral artifacting, there we go, and boom! 10 years we'll get that extra jump drive range, etc, etc. It already makes our jump drive range huge. Do you see that, ladies and gentlemen? The catapult range extends outside the bounds of the known galaxy, and it's instant. We've done it. We've solved the problem with quantum catapult. Let's have a little test run, see what kind of a bonus we get here. No. Oh my goodness me. Ladies and gentlemen, the science of the United Nations of Earth has actually made quantum trebuchets great again. I cannot believe I am saying this, but it's 200 days. Okay, so it's actually faster for us to fly there, to fly basically anywhere in the galaxy. Let's do a test run. We'll just grab one of the fleet from somewhere else. And let's say, oh, I don't know, let's go here. How long is that going to take? 80 days, right, yeah. How about here? 138 days. What about there? 128. I sense a pattern. 151. Lovely. This system, 132. I've not found anywhere more than about 150 days in the galaxy. So, yeah. Still going with the wind up. Still going. Anytime now. Anytime now. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom. 70k increase. That's not terrible. We get 48% fire rate for 120 days. That's really something, actually. That's not terrible. We'll circle back and look at it later. As a little aside for those of you watching at home, you may know what is coming next and what might happen with having sapient combat computers employed on our ships. I know You might know, but President Heidi Schubert has absolutely no idea. She's about to walk into what we might call a trap.
It's a trap!
We're also rushing and looking for cell revitalization technologies just to keep alive the president a little bit longer. She's very close to having a chance of being dead from old age. And President Heidi Schubert really doesn't want to die of old age. She's got a little bit more fight left in her. Yeah, we're spending a little bit of unity on edicts here, just a little bit. So on Mars, they've just discovered they're not alone in the universe near the end of the atomic age. They're kind of losing it. Their markets have crashed into freefall, and we can either bail them out, and that will have severe economic effects on us, even though we're a massive interstellar empire with an economy, you know, we have a literal partial Dyson sphere and a matter decompressor just pulling matter out of a black hole. But that will still cost us 10% of our monthly energy credits, unity, plus 10% upkeep from resource producing jobs, and minus 5% monthly consumer goods. Let's trust the market. Coming to the end of our second term as the custodian, best custodian in the galaxy, let's not forget. Yeah, look up at the heavens, we know it. We are suggesting that we are custodians in perpetuity, because I think we need to stay the custodians. Yep, the galaxy is currently in a state of lots of wars. We've got Zeratan protectors at war with people. These people at war. There's wars boiling over that we can't stop. And this is as the custodian. If we were not the custodian, only the leader of half of the free galaxy, then, you know, how can we do anything? Maybe this isn't the right roleplay track, but I actually think at this point, given who we've had on the council, given our leadership of the galaxy, I think, given the threats that are cropping up, I think it's reasonable that we would continue to remain custodian. Everyone is voting for this. It's not like we're alone in this. Many other nations, even the Commonwealth of Man, with their gorgeous mustaches, are voting for us. We are in fact going to abstain. That is how much we trust in the great galactic community. And don't forget, this is partly because there is an awakened fallen empire out there in the galaxy, the Gnogian mediators. And these Gnogians have some lovely technology though. Maybe we should contain their threat. They've not declared war on anyone yet, but they are a very great threat. Mars is going nuclear. We're going to covertly infiltrate and de-escalate this situation, though the weird-looking Martians don't all blow themselves to kingdom come on this lovely little continental world that we made. On the Tampera Prime habitat, a habitat which has quite a few synthetics on, there seems to have been a little bit of an issue. One of them went on a killing spree, butchering more than 1,000 citizens before local armed forces could bring them down. Our forensic team is now still investigating the synth's remains, but they suspect some sort of malfunction in the neural processor is to blame. Again, the debate is brought up on whether or not artificial intelligence should be entirely outlawed and robotic workers banned. Reports are now coming in from a number of colonies, including Vishnu, of a large number of synthetics workers just going missing. It's very odd stuff. Anyway, in the galaxy, we're now thinking about passing moderate administrative sanctions for those empires still in breach of galactic laws, such as the enemy of my enemy and greater than ourselves. Continued analysis of this so-called ghost signal has revealed that it is transmitting energy patterns nearly identical to those found in the positronic brains used by synthetic beings. Honestly, I think we always knew the synths were going to kill us one day. We saw the L cluster. We've seen a lot, and I never trusted those robots. That's all I got to say, Security Council. That's all I got to say. It must be assumed that the signal is directly responsible for the mass disappearances and behavioral changes we have been observing in the galaxy's synthetic population. Strangely, not all synths seems to be affected by it, and among those that are, the symptoms are not uniform. Millions of synthetics from all over the galaxy are currently on their way towards the signal source in whatever space-worthy craft they could acquire. These synths do not seem to be affected by any FTL inhibitors. The first ones are bound to reach their destination soon. In more exciting news, we've completed our matter decompressor and our Dyson sphere right at the same time. Isn't that just beautiful? That should swing our economy back into the positive. Ignore this red here, that's just some nanites we're spending on something. Nothing to see here, move along. The ghost signal is playing havoc on those of our ships that are equipped with sapient combat computers. Their AI algorithms have degraded to the point where there has been a critical decrease in both the efficiency and reaction time of the computers. Our engineers report that they are unable to isolate the problem. Their proposed solution is to refit all of our ships with different combat computers that aren't linked to an AI. Damn it! It means all of our fleet are really not doing well. Well, at least we got to find that out before jumping into combat, eh? Let's do the thankless task then of unequipping every single sapient combat computer from the fleet. You have to remember to check that auto upgrade box, otherwise they'll just re-upgrade themselves back to full sapience. Dastardly computers. At least this is entirely free. That's all I have to say. The net effect here is that we're getting a minus 10% overall fire rate on the human spearhead. What about like the GDF fleet? They seem to be equipped with autonomous ship intellects. I believe that is a different effect. The autonomous ship intellects I don't think are having a problem. Oh, let's just be safe. Better safe than sorry. Does no one in this galaxy have the psionic computers? How rude. That should make the whole process a doddle. Any day now, we're sure to hear the complete surrender of the Zuritan protectors, unable to protect even themselves. We've located the first machine world in the Hosin system. That one's down south, and they've got, oh my goodness me, how big are those fleets? 25 million. The big one is 25 million. The smaller ones, the little ones that we don't have to worry about so much, they're 10 million. So yeah, no problem. Oh, boom! That was instant death. I don't know what was there, but it instantly died. We're gonna need bigger. We're gonna need more. We're gonna need more. Just build me all the battleships. All the battleships. I don't care what classes. Just more battleships. We've got contact with the enemy, and yeah, that's not an enemy I want to punch in the face too hard. Oof. The starbase is so powerful that it's overflowed. It's overflowed over the top. And now it's just one power. Yeah, excellent, excellent. They're getting a bonus here of 6,000%. Great. So this is a 60 times crisis we're currently fighting. Yes, a 60 times crisis. Fun for all the family. Well, I think it's time we focus on the contingency as a galaxy. Very reasonable if you ask me. Very reasonable idea. We have a second machine world in the Fuyu system. That is again down by the south. A problem, it's something we can handle. We're going to wait to see where all of these machines... What? No. The caretakers have been corrupted. I repeat, the caretakers have been corrupted and they have just gone berserk. They're going to have to be our first port of call. Bringing down these corrupted caretakers. Well, I don't want the fleet to leave home. President Heidi Schubert is refusing to allow the Earth fleets to leave before they know the full nature of the threat. To rush headlong into the danger would be a mistake. What's the catapult like then? In terms of accuracy, we now have basically pinpoint accuracy on most systems. A couple of the really close together ones would be problematic, but generally speaking, yeah, we can point and shoot and hit whatever we want. The Cebulan Confederation would like to be our vassal, sure, and then release subject. Bringing them into the United Federation of Planets. We have a third machine world in the Owumgar system. That is in Lippian interstellar space. So there's two over here. This has been really ravaged by the forces at work, hasn't it? This side of the galaxy. Would not want to be living over there. I can tell you that for nothing. There goes the Rigging Commerce Exchange. We've grabbed some tactical insights into the contingency. Altogether, in terms of bonuses we're getting, let's check. 20% from the community. We could get another 20% by proclaiming a united front. What is our pending resolution, and do we actually care about it that much? So the current pending resolution is balance in the middle, which we do care about. However, we cannot achieve balance in the middle if we are all dead. So we're going to try and propose the united front thing. A fourth machine world in the Brachma system has now been visualized. So that means the northern side of the galaxy is entirely safe, or at least as safe can be. Right, that is 75 days. We're going to have a blitzkrieg war against the Alpha Refuge, try and take them out. We'll knock them out of the equation straight away. Clearly not all of these ships have been updated. Some do still have that terrible fire rate modifier. Yikes. Wait. No, the contingency have arrived in our home space. This is a code black, ladies and gentlemen. This is a code black. We are officially at war. The fleshy flashes, thems be problem. We'll take the L gates. It's time that society evolved. We are going to welcome everyone with open arms as well, just in case they want to come and join us. You know, we're pretty nice, pretty friendly. Come on in, come on down. Have a great time. They retreated back through the Quennis wormhole. That should mean these forces can be knocked out then. Gadzooks, let's get there. Pretty sure we set the follow command. Let's check. Yep, the first GDF fleet will have all forces converging on it. The galaxy will be united as one. Everyone has been asked to take their oaths again. One more time, if you please, ladies and gentlemen.
I solemnly swear to devote my life and abilities in defense of the United Nations of Earth, to defend the Constitution of Man, and to further the universal rights of all sentient life. From the depths of the Pacific to the edge of the galaxy, for as long as I shall live.
Right, we're going to try and get the drop on them. They're about to come through the wormhole, I think. Yeah, we're going to try and survive this. Oh, gosh. Oh, goodness me. Right, well, let's turn on all the edicts we need, plus astral shielding. Here we go. The Commonwealth Command, and they're here. They are here. We have equivalent hull points to them. We're opening up with kinetic artillery and kinetic batteries. They are firing, doing a lot of damage. Crikey. Overall, the focused arc emitters are basically the only thing that's scratching these beefcakes. They have very low hull points, but an awful lot of shields and armor. We're losing a few ships, not too many, not too many. The notification has just triggered. I'm hopeful that most of this damage is being shouldered by the other members of the UFP. Yes, we've got fleets there who have negative 56% health. Good. That's legal. Anyway, keep firing. Nobody stop firing. Should we just briefly try and take a look at the chaos in there, the carnage? Oh my lord. Oh my lord. I think this is the largest battle I think I've ever seen, actually. There's the enemy forces, these little kind of diamondy type things. Whoa, it's like one frame in an hour. And then here, this massive stuff is the galactic fleet. Let's pause for a moment. See if we can move around while it's paused. The game's having to render a lot of stuff. Yeah, this is beautiful. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you put politics aside and you do what is right. There's no way we can lose. We are the galaxy, and the galaxy is with us. So we're doing a lot less hull damage than they are. They have much higher efficiency than we do. But on an important side note, they have less. They have fewer hull points than us, so we don't really mind this so much. We're knocking units out. Excellent, excellent. The mainstay of the damage here, oh, it's everything now. It's absolutely everything. First and foremost amongst them is the kinetic artillery and the focused arc emitters. It's pretty cool. Neutron launchers coming in strongly as well. The matter disintegrators of our fleets are doing good. There's a couple of autocannons trying. That's cute. That is cute. Yeah, good job them. 9 million damage on one side, and on the other side, 1.7 million. They are really out damaging us. But we're not losing too many ships. And that's a victory. That there is a solid victory. Oh gosh. It looks like they're about to hit terminal egress. Let's get there. Let's get there. Can we put a lock on terminal egress? Is it possible I can dimensionally lock the thing and prevent the enemy from flying through it? We're going to try, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to try. Activate the cloak. We cannot lock the bypass. It has too many connections. Damn it. We tried. We did try. That was a very valiant effort. We dealt, let's see, 1 million damage, and we took 2 million damage. That's not excellent. We lost some frigates, bunch of cruisers, couple of battleships, all the escorts, loads of escorts and cruisers. Yep. Okay. We're going to take on another of the contingency fleets here. Here's another 10 million. We're bringing the rest of the galaxy with us. Do not worry, ladies and gentlemen. As one, prepare to jump. Before they leave the system, come on, where are they? There they are. Is that a combat lock? Do we have a combat lock? Oh, thank goodness though, I'm so glad it's not fleets that cause late game lag. I'm so glad it's pops, and that's why I'm not lagging right now. So thank you to those lovely people that corrected me on the Discord and stuff. That's very helpful. I'm very glad that there is no lag. And that's because it's pops that cause lag, not ships. We don't have too many ships and stuff rendering in the game, so that's not a problem. Anywho, oh, there was a synth infiltration attempt, but we caught it. We got him. How are we doing here? Are we taking them out? The rest of the galaxy is not actually come and joined us yet. We've got very few other ships alongside us, which means we're kind of taking a pummeling. We've got destroyers, all sorts of things swarming around this, the Amgathora A station, which has exceptional detection strength. I don't know if you knew that, but exceptional. More and more friendly fleets are arriving to save the day. We've lost a few hundred naval capacity so far. Not too bad though. You know, this is replaceable with current income and production levels. And the contingency are literally racking up kills as we throw ship after ship and body after body at them. Ah, we've done it. We're going to try going for one of these contingency worlds. Our fleets are not going to get particularly better, so we might as well give it a good crack. I've now set it up so that all of my fleets, bar the GDF fleet, are following the Lavtisha battle group, and everything else is following something else. That's because the GDF fleet has its own series of guards to take point. Those guards, of course, being the combined forces of the United Federation of Planets. We've lost the Dimensional Fleet, but that's only for a moment because we can summon them back in by spending a lot of stuff. And here they are, returned to us once more, the turn of the tide. The corrupted caretakers have declared war on our ally. Now, these corrupted caretakers honestly have such a small fleet power relative to the actual crisis that I'm just going to probably ignore them. What are their ship designs like at the moment? Tachyon Lancers, Disruptors. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. We'll leave them to it. We'll come and deal with them later if we have time. I've made the mistake of looking at the system. Oh gosh, here I am looking at the system. There are synth infiltrators now, disguising themselves as humans by grafting a thin layer of organic flesh over their metal endoskeleton. These Terminators are terminating our people. We need some sort of defense. We need some sort of backup plan. Scientists, do your job, or we'll do it for you. Now, synthetic life forms represent too large a proportion of our population, so we're not going to be destroying them, you know, or anything like that. That's, yeah, that'd be crazy. We're not crazy people. Huh? There's 300. They're a fifth. Yes, a fifth of our population is robotic helpers. We can't survive without 1/5 of the population. Our world would crumble.
Have you tried kill all the poor?
We've got quite a slow move to everyone joining us, but we do have a fish, a bait, a hooked prey, as it were. We're going to move into a good position over here. Yeah, I'm feeling good about this one. Feeling good about this one, everybody. Feeling very good. We can handle this 10 million. The United Federation of Planets stands ready to handle the threat. Here the threat comes, as slow as the speed of a hyperlane, which is apparently really slow at the moment. And that should be blam. Ah, here we go. Oh no, they're shooting first. Well, hopefully they're not shooting at us. I also believe that the enemy cannot get here into Azalash at the center of the galaxy. We can't even technically get here. The strange wormhole is completely impenetrable to us. Some outside forces preventing our entrance. But we've quantum catapulted our way in. Now we're going to build a lovely habitat here, and then we're going to populate it as a last refuge, a last bastion against the enemy. Good lord, look at this system. Wild. Utterly wild. We're going to follow that wormhole and take it back to where it leads. I think I've gotten this the wrong way around, you know. I think all of our fleet should be following the GDF fleet. Yeah, all of our fleet should be following the GDF fleet, and all of their fleet should follow the Federation fleet. Come on, GDF, work it out. You can follow us. Oh, God bless you, Galaxy. Thank you. They are still following us. Our ship's doing lots of shooting. Pew, pew. Right, combined might here is that thing, 26 million, and that thing. I don't know. I'm not sure the Galaxy can handle this. If our fleets lose, we're out. There's no, you know, the game is going slow enough now. The speed at which it's running, I can't replace it. If we lose all our fleets, we're done. There's no coming back from this. This is the final throw of the dice, ladies and gentlemen. From an RP perspective, I think what we're going to say is that if we lose this fight, it economically breaks the back of all the nations. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to throw this fleet's going to go in first, and then the GDF fleet, which everyone else is following, right? She's going to hold off on going in just for a little bit. Oh, we've engaged. So far, no one has come with us. No one has come with us. Did they take down the battleship in one hit? No, they didn't. That's okay. Where's everyone else? Seriously? No one else is coming? Everybody just take point. We lost the Federation fleet. It got wiped out. None of the other fleets even arrived. We are fighting them alone in the capital system, and everyone's dying. The whole lot is going. It's gone. This is a total and utter cluster monkey. It's all just dying. It's all death. We're all dead. The galaxy has not come with us. There's been some sort of tragic miscommunication. We can do some synth project. Let's do it. Come on, join us, please. We've lost half of our naval power at this point, and we've not even really scratched this thing. Not good. Really not good. No, we're out. We are out. Commanders are dying. Former President Bunlon Anoon has died. We're planning a grand parade, and we're gonna give it. Ladies and gentlemen, pay your respects to Bunlon Anoon. Yeah, we're still technically in the battle, but the galaxy has just given up. So they're turning around. They're hightailing out of there. Oh, wow. Our diplomatic weight is gone. We have 64 naval capacity left. 64. Yeah, there's only 3 ships left. The UNS Invincible is... the UNS Invincible is down. The Formidable is down. The Enterprise is down. Did we kill anything? No, I think we scratched the paint on a couple of them. We didn't kill a single ship from this 26 million fleet, but that was such a disorganized attack. I'm ashamed on the galaxy's behalf. Our entire navy is gone. Our military tradition is gone. And now the galaxy falls. In the aftermath of the devastating defeat suffered by the galaxy in the Fuyo system, a stark truth emerges. The true threat to sapient life was never external, but internal. The contingency, lurking within the galaxy all along, unleashed their destructive fury upon Earth and the rest of the galactic community with ruthless efficiency. Within a mere year, Earth was reduced to a radioactive wasteland, and the once proud civilizations of the galaxy fell like dominoes before the relentless onslaught of the contingency. As the last remnants of technological civilization crumble beyond our sanctuary here at the center of the galaxy, we cling on to the remnants of our past. While only 12 species remain in the refuge, a mere fraction of the once vibrant galactic community, the survivors cling on to hope amidst this despair. Each day is a grim struggle for survival as we await the inevitable end, knowing that we are truly alone. Knowing that the cries for help from the galaxy have long fallen silent. How long before they find us? If you've enjoyed this Stellaris roleplay video and you'd like to see me roleplay another faction, you might like to watch my trade playthrough. If you'd like to see me make trade great again, click the video on screen now.